welcome to the Ride the Wave show. I'm your host, Clay Archer. We got Tony Tone over here, and we got Adam B-Dubs, and boy, do we have jam-packed show for you. We had to fight the battle of sound before we got on here, so we were a little late, but we got that all A-okayed. We can hear each other now. We are no longer deaf to you guys out there, so that's good to go. And then we got a jam-packed show today. We got Anderson on the computer here behind us doing great work for you guys, making sure the show comes to you nice and clean and good. And then we got MVD. He's actually out fighting Russian giraffes today, making sure there's a big problem with those things running wild out there. So had to get that under control. He's out there doing, the Lord's work, getting that done. But we have a jam-packed lineup, guys, today, and I think we should waste no time getting to our first guest.
No,
especially because of the best. Yeah, so we're talking about Chillicothe football legend, Stanford football legend, was in a Super Bowl with the Patriots against the 85 Bears and was on the 49ers, the one, the only, Gary Varys. Gary, how's it going, my friend?
I cannot complain one bit. I got to say though, I love the riding the waves. I don't think we talked last time. I actually went surfing for the first time in Hawaii in early September. So you might have to add me to your riding the wave.
Heck yeah! Hey, how was your surfing going? I don't think I could stand up on the board. I'm too fat and I'm not balanced. I feel like I'd fall off.
Well, that was my problem. One of my Stanford football teammates and classmates. He lived over there all his life, and he's always wanted to get me out on the waves in Waikiki Beach. So we went out, and I tried my best to get up. My knees just don't bend like they used to. But,
hey, at least you have the excuse of your knees. Mine's just because I'm fat. But, Garen, there's a lot of stuff we want to talk to you about in the football world. I mean, what it's like to prepare for Super Bowl, what it's like to play, the feeling and everything. But we here feel like there's something a little bit more important, especially for Chillicothe, that was kind of in the works last time you were on, and now it's come true. Tony Tone, I know you were excited to talk about it. I'm going to let you take it away here.
First thing I said when you were coming back on, it's like I got to get a little time. But we made it. We are a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Let's go! Let's go!
Who's kind of a closet archaeologist. I'm obsessed with all that stuff, but I was really excited when that happened. The one thing I will say is I think we need to add a little YouTube presence. I feel like I'm looking around, and if you type in burial mounds and things, there's a couple of videos out there, but I think we got to do them right, and I really feel like if somebody wants to come visit the town, I think we got to do it right. You know what I mean? But I'm super excited about actually getting it. How's it feel to get that done as well?
Yeah, I'm totally excited about it. I left the Ohio History Connection a couple of months ago. My mom is not in great health right now, but when I was working with the Ohio History Connection, I'm still involved with the Friends of Hopewell Culture down in Chillicothe, and we'll be working with them for advertising and trying to publicize all the mounds and everything down there.
Sorry to hear about your mom as well.
But great things are happening in Chillicothe, and I'm still on the Friends board for the World Heritage sites in Chillicothe and Ross County, and I'm excited for what it's going to bring to the community. And I'm proud to say, being from Chillicothe, that we're going to hopefully a lot of people will learn about the history there.
Yeah, because that's always been a place like growing up around here, class field trips and everything. Man, going there, I kind of got the pleasure because I moved from Paint Valley to Chillicothe in the same year, and I went with Paint Valley, moved to Chillicothe. 2 weeks later, went with Chillicothe. So I kind of went twice within 1 week. So the second time was a lot cooler because I got to pay attention a little bit more and stuff like that. But it's kind of crazy because hearing them talk about when I was a kid, I'm like, man, why do not more people know about this? Like it's been. It's insane to learn about. It's insane to hear about. Now I'm just kind of glad that we're finally out on the map, and they've been saying this should be bringing a lot of people to Chillicothe now.
And that's what it is. When you're from this area, you want to succeed.
Yeah, when you think about it, I mean, you talk about World Heritage, you think about the Great Wall of China, the Great Pyramids. I mean, it just goes on and on of all the Stonehenge, all the great sites of the world, and we have it right in our backyard.
Yeah, and now Garen, we're talking about great sights of the world. One of the greatest sights of the world is going to happen this coming Sunday, the Super Bowl. I mean, it's the game of the year, I feel like, not just for football, but for sports in general. And as we all know, you got to play in the Super Bowl yourself, being with the Patriots, playing the 85 against those Bears. I've always been kind of curious. Obviously, I have never made it past high school football, so I don't know jack crap when it comes to that stuff. What is it like, the preparation leading up? You're flying to like a whole new place. You're practicing on not your normal practice fields. Actually, I'm pretty sure the Niners are not happy right now with their practice field, with I guess how the grass is or something like that. So what's it kind of like that week leading up to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, well, we had been on the road for 3 straight games in the playoffs. Won 3 road games in the playoffs. We went to New York, and then we went to LA to play the Raiders, and then we played Miami in the AFC Championship game. Then we had to go home and then turn around and go down to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. But it's a crazy atmosphere, and we're talking, how many years ago is that? I mean, it's probably 10 times as crazy now because it's such a big event. But even back then, being in a Super Bowl and being in New Orleans, of all cities in the U.S., just a great party town.
I'm sure that was a crazy week.
Yeah, a lot of when tickets cost,
Bourbon,
when the tickets cost,
Bourbon Street
nowadays,
and all that.
It's different,
Yeah, it is. But the experience, I mean, you can't beat it. I mean, people were excited about it, coming in from all over the world. And at that time, I think that Super Bowl generated, I don't know, it was like the top 5 watched event in the history of television at that time. But it's been slowly
in there with it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. But it was from to hear my name announced as I run out onto the field and as a starter in the Super Bowl. I mean, that was quite an experience.
And I'm sure, coming from New England in February down in New Orleans, you were kind of, I know it's in a dome, but I'm sure you're liking that warm weather.
We finally, we didn't have a dome back then. We practiced in the cold every day, frozen tundra. And, when we got down to New Orleans, we practiced at Tulane University. So they had nice grass fields. I mean, I can't say they were nice grass fields. They were okay.
He said they were definitely grass fields. For sure. I hope. I wanted to ask you, you go the whole season, right? I feel like towards the end, people are playing more banged up than you realize. I feel like after the Super Bowl, you just see a list of an injury report, and it's like, hey, by the way, this guy was playing with like a broken femur. This guy's ankle was just not feeling right. Is it just the adrenaline of, man, I'm about to play the biggest game of my life in the world, that you're like, I don't care if I lost my leg, I'm going to go out there and figure it out?
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if you can make any kind of appearance out there, you're going to do it. It's just, that could be a once in a lifetime event. It was for me, and it was for, just about probably everybody who played that day. But you whatever ailment you have, you step on that field, it's gone.
Yeah, and then another one of the teams in the Super Bowl this year, the 49ers, you got to be there for I'll say a couple years. That is a historic franchise. I feel like when you think of blue bloods of the NFL, you got to throw them up there with Joe Montana, Steve Young.
Candlestick Stadium was iconic. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
What was it whenever you were there that you kind of noticed, like, okay, I've been to Stanford, I've been to New England, I've played football in a lot of places, but I feel like there has to be something different there. Did you get that kind of feeling when you were in San Fran?
Well, going to school out there, I mean, that's all I heard was 49ers, and it was in their heyday, 81, they beat the Bengals in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, that really started their dynasty in 81, and I was a freshman at Stanford at that time. So I knew all about the 49ers and Bill Walsh and starting the whole, 49er dynasty. So I was right in the middle of it. And then when I got, drafted, I mean, I forget if I told you guys a story. Bill Walsh was going to draft me in the first round when I came out, but they moved up and got Jerry Rice at 16. And so I could have been that could have been my home, very close to it. But living there in the off season and then having a chance to play with him, going back after my experience at New England. I mean, at New England, we had a couple losing seasons and really weren't winning. And so when I got the chance to go to the Niners, and I think we went 14-2 during the regular season, played the Redskins the first divisional playoff game, and then lost to Dallas in the NFC Championship game. It was definitely I went out on a different level than I would have at New England.
Right.
No.
Now, you playing at Stanford, living out there a little bit, did that kind of like help you kind of go to the Niners? Like, did you maybe have some other offers for some other teams, but you're like, I've been to California, all I've heard is about the Niners, they're a dynasty. Like, does that kind of help you go out there?
I mean, I didn't know really where I was going to go. New England was a total shock to me. I mean, my agent had told me, that New England was looking for defensive linemen, and we knew that I think Green Bay was looking for linemen. I think San Diego was looking, and maybe I don't know if I said Cleveland, but so we knew there were about 5 or 6 teams that we may be drafted by. San Francisco really wasn't one of them, but I had found out later, that Bill Walsh had an eye for me and was going to make that selection. But you really don't know going in who you're going to go to, and it just so happened that San Francisco needed a defensive lineman that my last year. And as I talked about maybe before, I had to go through the courts to actually become a free agent and get out to San Francisco.
So what do you mean go through the courts? Like, did you have to go against the Patriots or something to become a free agent, or?
Well, yeah, I was one of the 4 very first total free agents because of the court cases back in 1992.
Oh, wow.
We had been in court cases with our free agency system. And finally, the court said, hey, the NFL is not doing right by the decision that they had made previously. So they, through injunctive relief, I was myself, Webster Slaughter, I think Keith Jackson of the Dolphins. There were 4 of us that the judge gave us 5 days to sign with anybody in the National Football League. And so that's when I got the offer from San Francisco. Then I went to San Francisco. So really, us 4 guys were the very first total free agents in the NFL.
That is
and only had 4 days to do it.
And it's not 5 days like it now times where, I'm a free agent now, send out mass text, send out mass email. Like, I bet, how crazy were those 5 days? Like, did you talk to any of the other guys too about like how?
Yeah, I mean, no, I never really talked to him about it, but it was crazy. My agent and being from Stanford and San Francisco, I don't know how the process went for them to contact my agent and say, hey, we'd like to try out, have Guerin come out for a tryout. I went out for the 49ers, worked out, and got signed. I think it was the 3rd game of that regular season, so I had missed the first 2 games.
So you got signed in the middle of the season or the beginning of the season then?
Right, and so because I was waiting on this ruling because my contract was up with the Patriots, and so we battled all through the courts and everything, and then finally when this came down at the beginning, that's when I made the jump.
How was it playing a season with no training camp? I mean, did you kind of stay working out in the off season and then kind of just wait for this to happen, or how? I feel like that has to be challenging.
Or you're a natural.
Yeah, I mean it was just no pads or anything, just working out, trying to stay in condition. I was hoping that I'd get to, play somewhere, have a contract, but I was in limbo. I had no contract, and to hear the judge say that you can go anywhere you want, and even then, there was no guarantee that any team was going to take you because they, people who buck the system and go through the court system, is anybody going to take us?
Yeah, I mean, could you kind of start rubbing the other side the wrong way, and they're like, well, I don't.
You look at NFL owners, you know how they are. Like, they're not going to be happy.
I mean, when you have a legend like Garen Veris, though, you can't say no.
I brought in millions of dollars for them that year.
Yeah, Jerry Rice, who?
Yeah. So I got a question though. We're on the topic of Super Bowls a little earlier. With a guy like Patrick Mahomes, what's I see him breaking a lot of tackles in the backfield as a defensive lineman. What's something you would do to try to bring this guy down and keep him down?
Well, I mean, and that you study a lot of film. I mean, Mahomes reminds me a lot of John Elway, and John Elway, he'd give you that little dip this way, and then he'd spin back around the other way. and you'd fall for it every time because you think the quarterback's going that way. But you've really got to study, and when you have somebody breathing down your back, which way does the quarterback generally go? So it's in your mind. You got the split second to think, is he going to do it again? Is he going to do the things that he always does? Does he give you that little shoulder fake and then come back around the other way? Or is he going to give you a shoulder inside and go the other way? I mean, it's all, you have to look at that hip basically and hope for the best that you're agile enough, which most defensive linemen aren't enough to.
It's kind of like in basketball, whenever you're guarding somebody, they tell you to kind of like read their torso because it can't really lie versus like the shoulders and stuff. Like
I love what he just
when
said.
it comes to the hip.
Well, when you got blood in your eyes and you're chasing down somebody, and
he
you're
said
crashing.
he said you can't see shit, man.
That is so cool. I'm like, I was a cornerback, so I'm like him saying watch the hips. Like that's what you. I love hearing him say that. But I'm half as cool because he's like, well, I had to watch the hips because actually I couldn't see shit.
So yours was against John Elway.
Yeah, I was about to say, so playing against John Elway in college, did that help you, get a couple sacks on him during the actual NFL career?
Yeah, I never did get John. I got a funny story about John because we played out in Denver, and I was chasing him down just before he threw it, and I hit him after he threw it. And the ref threw a flag on me for a late hit on him. And so we got up and I went back to the line and, we broke the huddle, got up on the line, and John looked down at me. He said, Hey, Garen. He looked down at me. He goes,
No. That is gold. Oh,
so
man,
I had to right before the snap, and I said, "You SOB, I'll wait till I get."
That's odd. I can't imagine John Owen Sherman.
I wish I had that picture of him doing that. To me,
was he the hardest person that you had? It was for you to try and get a sack on, or who's the hardest quarterback that you?
Dan Marino was always tough to get because everybody talks about his quick release, and he did not want to get hit. You knew you were playing a good game against Dan because Dan would always, if he got hit hard, he'd start cussing his offensive lineman out. Right there.
You knew you did your job when you heard your tackle just getting his ass.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what was the play? I don't know. Dan just yelled at me the whole time.
Yeah, we'd go by the offensive lineman and said, "You gonna let him talk to you like that?"
You're twice his size, man. Put him in his place. That's awesome. Now, Garen, we got the Chiefs, we got the Niners. What is your take on this Super Bowl? Who do you think's going to win? And you have any keys that you're kind of looking for in this game?
No, I go into each game just these guys are professionals. They've been busting their tail all season long, and I think it's going to be a really good game. I think I give the edge to the Niners. I like their offense. Their defense is strong, solid. But Detroit, I was really surprised at what Detroit did to them. I really was.
I mean, really a field goal away.
Heartbreaking for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I just think overall as a team, I like the energy that the Niners are playing with. And Kansas City, they've been there. There may be a little not as hungry.
Yeah. What do you think of Brock Purdy, man? Going from mystery irrelevant to just being on the run that he's on right now?
I'll tell you what, he puts the ball on the mark, and he has a way of making plays. And somebody who's that hot, I mean, they get hot in the Super Bowl. It's hard to stop.
I saw Joe Montana. It was the other day. He was on the Pat McAfee show, and he said, I was good because I knew the team I had. I mean, I had Jerry Rice. I had all these weapons. I just knew, hey, get him the ball. Yeah. And he said that he can kind of see that in Purdy. He knows that he has the weapons. He knows to get him the ball.
He responded to Cam Newton by saying, yeah, maybe I am the 10th best player on my team.
Yeah.
Maybe I am. And it's like that's what you're talking about. He knows his role. He knows maybe he's not the best.
I like that he doesn't make – occasionally he'll have a random game, but not a lot of mistakes. Look at a guy like Joe Flacco. When he was on the Ravens, he just didn't make mistakes. Yeah, he was sitting there being like, I know what team I have. All I have to do is not give the other team more opportunities to beat.
Right. I think Purdy had one game where like that this year. I think he had 4 picks. And everybody's like, is Purdy done? And then the next day you just saw graphics. Brady, 5 interception game. Manning, 6 interception. The greats have done it too,
Manning
man.
set the record for most interceptions in his season.
Just sometimes you have a bad day. But I want to go back real quick because you. Oh, sorry. Did you just have something to say there? Sorry.
Well, I was just saying their offense. I mean, you look at McCaffrey in the backfield. You know, that's a Roger Craig back in the day.
Yeah.
You got Brent Jones with Kittles at tight end. You know, that kind of compare them, and then you got Debo Samuels. Reminds me, you know, Jerry Rice. They've got three solid weapons that really spread it around, and I see that you know, and Purdy, a quarterback that gets the ball to them. That's his role, and I think that you know, he does a good job of it.
I think he fit in there too so well because like I feel like where the Niners are out there kind of like with Garoppolo, and again, this is just some fat dude from Chillicothe talking, but I was like, I feel like with Garoppolo they had the like, you know, what you would call in high school like the pretty boy aspect of like, you know, like we're good, blah blah. Where when Purdy came in, but he had that chip on his shoulder.
You have to remember Trey Lance was around too.
Yeah.
So like there was this thing where it's like, oh, we have the pretty boy, but this guy's coming.
Yeah.
And then this guy came out of nowhere. So
right.
It's like this
and I just feel like the
element,
attitude that Purdy brought with, you know, the chip on the shoulder, like he worked for everything he had. I felt like it kind of spread through the Niners organization. We're like, yeah, no, we got to still like kind of.
You can see your future. You
Yeah.
know who your quarterback is. You don't want to go into, you know, the offseason. You don't think you have a good chance at a Super Bowl when you're sitting there being like, oh, there's two guys going up for the quarterback position right
where
now.
this guy's like solidified himself. But one question that you kind of remind me of a little bit ago when you said, you know, these are professional athletes, like they've worked, you know, so hard to get here. You always hear like college athletes, if they go from the NBA or from the NCAA to the NBA or the NFL, they say, man, the game's just faster than what it was in the level before. Does that apply to the Super Bowl? Like, does it kind of like whenever you play in that game, you're like, man, like the linemen just kind of seem a little bit faster. They seem a little bit stronger, like that kind of aspect of it? Or is it just, you know, as much of a normal game as it can be?
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal game. It's just coming down to, you know, who's healthy going in, who's creating turnovers, who's not making turnovers. It's the same thing that's happened throughout the season. It's just that you're now in a bigger fishbowl, and you know that people are looking at you. But once you get smacked in the mouth on that first play, I mean, same game.
I feel like it's like one of those, like you got the jitters, then you get hit, you're like, all right, time to put people in their place. Now, Garen, one more question before you get out of here. Obviously, you know, played in your Super Bowl with the Patriots. You know we know you've been kind of like stay close to them. Belichick finally out of there. The Belichick done and going on.
Yeah, I mean, it's a, you know, end of a just an amazing dynasty. I mean, I've talked to people on Facebook and everywhere that, you know, they're sad to, you know that their run is over. It's been over for the last couple of years, but I don't think we'll ever see a 20-year run like they went through.
That would be the greatest dynasty, at least in NFL history. I mean, that was insane.
I mean, Pittsburgh's had a great, you know, run. San Francisco's had a great run, but not at the level that the Patriots have. And I'm proud, very proud to be part of that organization. I wasn't there when Kraft first started, but you know, to say that we were that first Super Bowl team to make it, and get New England excited about, you know, that New England can compete at that level. And it was 15 years later that they were winning their first Super Bowl against the Rams. So Boston and New England has nothing to be ashamed about. And this is exactly what the NFL wants. They want rotating dynasty. They don't want a 20-year dynasty, but they want to see new teams come in and take over. And the teams that do it the best work over, and the teams that do it the best work the salary cap and have good organizations. Those are the ones that are going to continue to win.
I could just see Roger walking in there in like 2016, 2017. Guys, listen, we wanted a dynasty yet. You broke the rules, though. We gave you 10 years, right? You went 20. Like, come on now.
And it was one of those things, if he wasn't injured, it was pretty much just a wrap. It really was. Like,
well, Garen, thank you so much for coming on, my man. Again, best wishes to your mother. We hope that she is getting well soon. What are you up to? Where can we find you at nowadays?
Well, it's still here in Columbus now, and you're going to see me a lot in Chillicothe. I'm going to be working with the David Nickens Heritage Center. We're having a charity golf tournament on June 15th, so I'd love to have you guys come out and play in that tournament. And I'm going to get you some information. I'd love for you to publicize it, and so working on that. and then just got my real estate license back again. So I'm going to be dabbling in real estate. So
Heck
keep
yeah.
them busy, man.
All righty. Well, if you want to buy a house, you know where to go. And if you want to play some good golf, you know where to go. Send us the info, and we'll get it out there for you. Ladies and gentlemen, not only the man a part of the first Super Bowl in Patriots history, but part of the first free agency in NFL history, Garrett Ferris. Woo!
Hey,
Thanks for coming on,
thanks
man.
a lot, guys.
Wow. First free agent in NFL history. That
True free agent.
Yeah.
True.
Like,
truly free.
went to court for it.
Yeah.
Like, that's
You
insane.
sit there and it's like, I feel like, people that play in the NFL, and he's like, yes, I played in the Super Bowl, and it's like, I just really want them to know, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're not like the guy, you're not Tom Brady or things like, yes, I was along for the ride. When you get in there, it's not I just really appreciate the fact that it's like, you gotta understand it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it's absolutely amazing.
And I liked what he said, too, is like, it's the Super Bowl. I always felt like a dipshit.
It's the Catalina in war.
It's like, how was playing Super Bowl? He goes, nerve-wracking, man. What do you mean? It's the biggest game of all time. Like, what the hell? All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break here because Tony's bladder can't handle it. But we will be coming back shortly with Jeff Miller. He's going to be talking about
It's Miller
the
time.
4 seed
Almost
in the
Miller
tournament. I don't know about that. And then after that, we have Chillicothe legend Humpty Higgins coming in with us. We'll be right back in about 10 minutes. What the Adam, it took all of us off mute, and as soon as he took us off mute, he went right after.
I did it. And I was like, but Andy hadn't cut our audio back on yet, so the fans did not hear my cough.
Oh man, I'm sorry. That was hilarious. Well, welcome back into the Ride the Wave show. Just before hour 2 here, got the legendary Garen Varys in here. Just No, sir. No, sir. That was freaking awesome, dude.
Loved it.
We got Jeff Miller coming up here. He's actually calling in from the 7th grade girls tournament game. He goes, sorry, that's a problem. I said, even fucking better. Yeah. But before we start talking about the girls, I want to talk about the tournament a little bit. I got so got to talk about this. There's seats for other girls, but they're not confrontational like this one. Union's a 4 seed.
You just sounded like you were reading a book.
I couldn't say it.
But yes.
But no, Union
non-confrontation.
came in as a 4 seed.
I think the word he was actually looking for was controversial.
Yes, thank you.
You didn't even hit the right word.
You suck
I knew
when you really suck.
That's how good we are of friends. I knew what you were saying.
Yeah,
We're getting
so
better.
keep that in mind.
We self-police. It's nice.
No, one thing I want to know before we get Jeff on here is like, is he okay with the 4 seed? Because to me, 4 seed's way too low.
It's about the draw.
It's about the draw.
I was thinking as a coach, you're going to be like, oh, my girls are going to be mad at this one.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And a lot of people think the draw comes out, I'm pretty sure, like as, like, hey, they take the rankings and they just go, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm pretty sure it's a little different. We'll talk with Jeff, make sure that's kind of how it goes. But I'm pretty sure it's kind of coaches doing some networking because Circleville being undefeated, the way that they're undefeated, a lot of people I think they were going to come in at 1. And, talking to some people around the league, well, not just the league, I guess Southern Ohio, because I wouldn't consider Chillicothe, Vinton County some people I talk to in the SVC. But it seems like they kind of manipulate the system. They wanted to be that 2 seed. And that's kind of how it goes. You network with the coaches. You kind of see, and you kind of look like, hey, if I'm the 2 seed, I'm going to play this team. I'm going to play that team. And it kind of, you can almost set up your own road to, the Sweet 16, Final Four, probably state title.
You know who would be able to tell us an answer to this?
Probably the man, the myth, the legend, Jeff Miller. It's Miller time, baby.
He's not even a myth. He's real.
Jeff, how's it going, my man?
Good. How you guys?
Doing good. Hey, so we had it up here, with Fairland 1. Looks like Circleville 2, and then Sheridan 3. You guys 4. We were kind of talking here because I feel like I remember, it doesn't just go off of your record. It kind of goes off to, like, you're networking with coaches. You're kind of talking, and they kind of do it to a vote. Is that how it's done nowadays, or is it done a different way?
Actually, Clay, this is the first year that there's no coaches vote anymore. Everything's based on an RPI.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so really it's Max Preps does the RPI. They've got some kind of algorithm they use, you know what I mean? And basically there's no human element anymore to the voting. So
oh, okay. Well, I feel like that kind of makes sense, kind of answers my theory there. Now, as a coach, what's your take on that? Do you like it this way? I mean, it's the first year. Or did you like
what's
the networking?
RPI stand for?
it's like rating percentage index or something. And I mean, if you look on like the OHSA, you've got like, I think there's like 3 or 4 components. It's like your winning percentage, your opponent's winning percentage, and then your opponent's winning percentage. So
what is this, the NFL? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it was way too much math for me to even try to figure out. So we
He's
just
like,
played
listen,
and tried to win as many as we could.
He's like, I got to the second winning percentage, and I was like, look, just win the games, all right? just win the games.
Exactly.
Now you got to get opponents to win.
Right?
What the hell?
He's like, you're calling up like Callie, like, hey, we played like the second game, and you're playing, I don't know who, but I need you to win tonight.
Yeah,
Callie.
and make sure your opponents are also winning.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jeff,
But
we were kind of talking too. Being the 4 seed's not bad, though. I feel like you guys might have a pretty good road here. And speaking of winning, That's literally all you guys have done this year. I mean, your only losses come to some pretty good teams. One of them being, I'm pretty sure the week after you played them, we were talking with Jack, and I think they got some first place votes for Division One. What is it about your team this year, man? That's just they're on. I mean, here's a good level, and then here's like your team. They're just like up here.
Well, we talked about this preseason that we were going to try to up our non-league schedule, and we did that pretty well.
Yes.
Like you said, I think we played Westerville South, we played Olentangy, we played Dublin Kaufman, Huber Heights Wayne.
Yep.
And like you said, the Olentangy game, we played them up at Classic in the Country in Berlin, and it was an unbelievable game, 65-63 loss.
I felt like you guys had control of that game almost from the tip too. I mean, you guys really showed your dominance that game.
Yeah, and like you said, that was just a totally different level than what that we typically see. But that was one of those the games that we just wanted to challenge our girls and just kind of see where we were at. And when we left there, although it was a loss, I mean, we left there pretty satisfied with our efforts.
And I love too, because like you said, although it was a loss and you guys are satisfied, you could look and see the look on your girls' faces after the loss. You could tell it wasn't like, oh, we're happy to be here. They're like, we should have won that damn game. Yeah,
like Southern.
No, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. But I mean, in the locker room, it wasn't. There wasn't a whole lot of smiles in the locker room. I mean, they knew that that was an opportunity to knock off the number one team in Division One. So.
Yeah, and again, without winning the game, I really think that you guys really put your stamp on.
Well, there was a lot of national basketball Twitters. Amaris Betts was on one of them. Mm-hmm. You're getting a lot of recognition with that, and nobody was scared to say it.
Yeah. And talking about some recognition, man, I think coming into the season, everybody was looking at Milli Vanilli, and they're like, clear-cut number one. But honestly, at least for me, Maya Hamilton, man, she came out of nowhere really for me, and then she has absolutely exploded. And then you have Amaris Betts, you have Maggie Holbert, who...
How important is Alexis Book coming back?
I want to say something real quick with Maggie Holbert. The way you guys face guarded Emma Garrison brought a tear to my eye. It was so beautiful, man. I mean, that's how face guarding is. You're in their face. You don't give them room. You don't let them catch the ball and then guard them. You're in their face. They don't catch it.
No comfortable dribble.
What is it like, man, to just be able to almost look at any girl? Sorry, this is a long question, but just look almost like any girl and say, I need you to do this, and damn it, they do it.
Well, it's one of those things, Clay, where I've got a bunch of girls who really don't care other than what can I do to help this team be as good as possible.
Hell yeah.
And when you get that amongst a bunch of kids, then you can kind of write your success story based on them and what they want to do, because you take Maggie Holbert. I mean, that's a kid who, you look at her averages, and you're not going to be wild. I mean, she averages, 6 points a game, 4 assists a game, 4 rebounds a game. But we went through a little bit of injury bug and stuff, and then now look at Maggie. She's been double figures the last 2 or 3 games simply
while locking
because
people down.
Yeah, simply because she said, I got to step up my offensive game. We got a couple kids that are dinged up, so that's a kid. If she wanted to all year, she could be a 12-point game score, but she does exactly what we need to do to be successful.
And that's what I love is where you said, she really could go out there. I mean, and we've seen her do it in AAU ball. She can go out there and put up 15, 20 points whenever she wants. It's taking the pride and being like, no, I need to do this. I need to get some assists.
If I score 15 points this game, we lose this game.
Yeah.
But if I score 8 and I get more assists and rebounds, we win it. And that's more important.
And
that's big.
I brought it up, and I want to talk to you about it. I feel like, with Holbert there, might have had some with him because he did it with Shu in my day, man. And that was me. We had scores, everything. My thing was defense, face guard, and for the past couple of years, when I see people and they're saying like, oh, we face guard him, and they're like 2 or 3 feet off the guy. They're letting him catch it. They're not getting through the screens. What I saw out of Maggie on Emma was you're not just face guarding her as in when she's running up the court, you're right next to her. If there's a free throw and she's over there talking to her coach, you go stand next to her. If she's just trying to go over here and just stand over, you follow her wherever she's going around the court. And Maggie did that to a T. I just want to know, I guess, how'd you guys approach her with that? How was practice preparation for just the face guarding? Because
Do you even need practice?
yeah, because
She
it was
just
beautiful.
backed
I haven't
off.
seen face guarding that good since I did it.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think sometimes in today's era, if you're just out talking basketball with people and you talk about whatever box and one, diamond and one, triangle and two, and some people are like, oh yeah, like it's kind of a junk defense. Well, I don't know. I kind of have a different mindset on that. I mean, one, I think it's extremely difficult to prepare for. I mean,
Yes.
obviously, you got 2 days of practice typically before a game. No coach in their right mind waste a bunch of time practicing for box and one, diamond and one, triangle and two. So there's one advantage is that the other team's not going to be prepared. The second advantage to me is Emma Garrison is an unbelievable basketball player. If we can limit the number of touches that she gets in the game, one, it decreases her scoring, and with the ball out of her hands, she can't create for others. So,
Right.
So something
going
I
into
noticed,
the game, it's like keep the ball out of her hands.
So something I noticed is when you guys played the Adina the first time at Adina, I felt that without Emma, that was a little bit of a closer game. But where with Emma, you were able to just completely take her out of the game while she was actually playing. It was more of hey, we got to look for her to try to get her going so that way we can actually have something. Whereas like the first time, it felt like they played you guys a little better because they didn't have her for you guys to do that too.
Yeah, you're probably onto something there. I mean, honestly, again, reigning player of the year. She's going to be a focal point in your offensive game plan. I mean, I'm sure in most games you look at Emma's getting, 15 shots a game. She's averaging 15, 18 points a game. Some of that offense runs right through her. And what we wanted is we just wanted to take the ball out of her hands and make them uncomfortable and basically second guess themselves of like, where are we going to go now? We can't get it to who we want to get to. Where are we going? And just make that confusing for them.
And that's the thing
he
that
nailed
fans
that too, because
that's
then you're going to Marley Halcomb. Great player. Again, just first half wasn't on.
And that's the thing that people like fans, like your average fans don't understand is that when your player's getting face guarded, that's almost the other team like kind of giving them the utmost respect. Like we can't have you touching the ball or we're screwed here.
And then that also leads to stuff more. It's like, well, like you said, you're trying to confuse them. Well, maybe there's like, well, I'm still going to try to force them, and now you're causing a little bit more turnovers just because they're trying to make the offense run through her when really they should probably.
When they need a bucket, they're trying to find her.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, shifting the focus back onto you guys. Last year you had a lot of freshmen. You still made a great run. I mean, again, I'll stamp it on it. Greatest comeback I've ever seen, possibly in all of sports. What you guys did with Sheridan last year. Have you noticed the kind of different attitude of the team this year going into the tournament, knowing what it's like playing in it versus last year, not knowing what they don't know?
Yeah, I agree with you, Clay. I mean, I think, last year as a freshman, I mean, heck, it is. It's their first opportunity to play in tournament basketball. And obviously, we got 4 or 5 games under our belt last year on that run. So, I have noticed a little bit of, I guess maybe more of a comfort level of tournament basketball, right around the corner. Let's get this and focus on one game at a time, and let's see what kind of run we can put together.
As we're just going to say, it's probably going to be a long run, and we're awesome and
I have
waited
to
watch it.
ask, how the hell do these girls have such good handles? Are you doing dribbling drills? Like, are they doing YouTube videos at home in the driveway? Like, I'm telling you, some of those crossovers, I wish I could do. Where the hell is this coming from?
Well, and honestly, we do a lot. We do a lot of drill work. I mean, every coach kind of has their own philosophy how they want to do practices. You'll have some coaches do a lot of 5-on-5 stuff. We do a lot of drill work. We do a lot of post guard breakouts where post players on one end, guards on the other. Coach Beard kind of takes one group, Coach Holbert takes both, and takes the other group. I kind of bounce around, but we do a lot of that, and we challenge the kids in practice. That's one thing with girls that I've realized sometimes getting outside of your comfort box isn't what they really like to do. So in practice, we give them some challenging drills, and we're like, listen, if you're making mistakes with these drills, then really that's what we want. We want to challenge you.
Let's go. That's the second time we've heard that.
Thank you. Yes, preach it, Jeff. Yes. Sorry. But that's
the
what we're saying.
cheesy ass practice make perfect stuff. It's the truth.
Because if you're doing it right every single time, that means you're not getting better. It's whenever you're forcing yourself to go harder and you missed it. Oh, I missed it going that speed? Why do you keep going that speed until I don't?
The ability to use the left hand.
Yes.
That is something that I clearly saw in the last game. Was your team's ability to potentially use the left hand. And
now, Jeff, want to give you get one more question in here before we get you out of here. I know you're at the 7th grade girls game, and honestly, that's something that I absolutely love. And kind of what we're talking about over here is, you have a good varsity team, but you're not just having a good varsity team. You're building a whole program there. I mean, it starts from the 7th grade girls, the 8th grade girls, and then to JV. And I
shout
feel like,
Coach Shites.
Yeah, and I feel like kind of what we're getting here is JV's kind of overlooked nowadays. Everybody's always looking at varsity. Can you kind of explain, what not only just JV's importance is, but starting young and building a whole program versus just focusing on the players that you have this year?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm big on that. I'm big on, you've got to be involved down in those lower levels, whether that be, you're actually in the gym with those kids, whether it be you're meeting with the coaches and kind of telling them what you want them to focus on. But I like to be seen. I like to be, yesterday I watched our 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade play all day. And don't think for one minute that those kids don't like to see you there as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
100%.
You're the heroes that they're watching on the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and so, I try to get my varsity kids to come out and watch the younger kids. And then, like you said, the JV sometimes goes overlooked. Obviously, numbers across the entire state of Ohio aren't real good with JV teams. And, you can have your opinions on why that is. I've got multiple ideas of why it is. But my thing is our numbers have always been pretty good. One, because we are, we're a larger school. We're going to have better numbers than most. But the second thing is I want those kids to feel like they're part of a program.
Yes, sir.
Hell yeah.
Yes, sir.
And if they feel like they're part of a program, then they're going to kind of accept whatever position they are, JV, whatever. But they feel like they're part of the Uniota girls program. Not I'm on the JV team. Well, I'm on the varsity team. No, we're all in one program.
We're
not going to separate.
Shermans.
That stems back to
That's right.
Mackenzie Vanderpool, somebody that I work with. She was almost 1,000-point player, but she tore her ACL her senior year. And when I talked to her, it's the same thing. She literally played 15 years ago.
Yeah.
I like what you guys
and I like what you said too. I mean, we were just talking with Garen Veras, who's playing in the NFL, and he was like, I understood the role that I had to do whenever I was out there on the field. Going back to what you said of, Maggie Holbert understanding her role, it's easier for a kid to do that whenever, A, they feel like they're part of not just like a team, but a family. And 2, like when they go back to when they have a coach that believes in them, they do what they want. I mean, do you think I just did whatever Coach Shu said because I hated him? No, because I knew that guy, even though he would talk shit to me, he had my back. He just wanted me to be better. And I can really see that out of you with this team specifically, probably because it's the first time I've focused on SEC as much as I have this year. But I'm really seeing it out of you in this program. And I really feel like that's a bigger reason that you guys shine that a lot of people kind of overlook.
No, you're right. And you've got to have the right people in the right positions. I mean, Coach Seitz at the JV, he does a phenomenal job.
Love him.
I'm in a group message with those guys, and he's constantly throwing new ideas out to these kids and giving them all kinds of support. And if you don't have the right people in those right positions, then that can go south real quick as well. But Steve does a great job with those kids, and I know they know he cares about them. He's going to push them. He wants them to get better. So we're in a really good position right now.
Hell yeah! And honestly, looks like we're going to be in a good position for a few years to come. How's that 7th grade game going? Are they carrying on the flag for the varsity girls?
Well, I'm actually watching boys tonight. My son's a 7th grader, so just got done watching him.
How are they doing?
So 8th grade, they won the semifinal game. So I'm sure we'll get home. We'll get home and break down the game, and the coach will come out and I'll tell him what he did wrong. And
I'm gonna have to have you on to talk about that coach-dad ratio.
It's like, cool, yeah, your coach said you're super good.
I got a 2.5-year-old. I feel like I might be in the same shoes.
Well, Coach, good luck on the tournament. We'll be following you every single step of the way, wishing you the best of luck. And honestly, I hope on top of winning, you guys just have the time of your lives, man.
Hey, we plan on doing that, and I really appreciate you guys. You guys have really made some great fans around here. I know people love watching you guys, and your energy is nonstop. So you guys keep doing what you do as well.
Hell yeah. We
There
hope
you
to
say
be...
we've made some waves.
Yeah. Now you just got to ride them, right? Thank you, Coach. We appreciate it. We hope to become the Unioda Girls of podcasting. Ladies and gentlemen, the Jeff Miller.
Still Miller time, baby.
Woo! It's Miller time. Dude, that's why they win. That is why they're good. That guy, man, he is awesome.
When he was describing their practices, it reminded me a lot of like the Combs practices. You're drilling, and then if you're lucky, we'll do some 5-on-5s if we're not running.
Yeah,
that's what
I was about to get at. I loved how if you're a coach out there right now, I'm actually talking one in specifically, but I'm not going to point them out right now. 5-on-5, the whole practice is not a damn practice.
You got to challenge your players.
How
are
you supposed to get better at dribbling? How are you supposed to get better at rebounding? How are you supposed to get better at all this shit if you don't do drills focusing on it? If you just roll a basketball out there and be like, 5-on-5, try it out. Like, they're not.
So there's no structure to that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I said it was like a typical Combs practice, running to warm up, stretching, running, and then you're drilling. And then you're gonna break off, maybe do a little bit of 5-on-5s at the very end of practice. Like that was mostly like, hey, we're running cardio basically.
Our 5-on-5 was really just, all right, varsity's gonna go through their plays. JV, we need a defense, get out there. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't really full court. And when we went full court, one thing I kind of liked about Shu, and we kind of talked about earlier, was like, and this is not knock on JVs, you know, they're developing, but like. He would bring in outsiders, you know. Like if we were playing Unioda, he'd bring in the Lighthouse kids, and they were just fast, man. They weren't good at dribbling or shooting really, but he knew that they could move the ball as fast as Unioda was.
So he would just tell them not to dribble and stuff.
Yeah, he would just say, pass it. You don't carry it like a football. It doesn't matter. And then he'd bring in like vets like Drew Bob. Not Craig Kearns, he was a little too on the older side there. But all those older guys, to have them come in to play is because they knew they were going to give us a better look than the JVs.
See, I like what you said. So it would be a half-court 5-on-5s, like to run through your plays. Like we'll have varsity run through their plays. We just need a defense out there, get JV out there. But when we were doing full-court 5s, it'd be more of like okay, let me kind of even these teams up and get a good like 8v8. Yeah, and we'll sub and stuff. But yeah.
Now, talking about the boys,
Key piece here though. Gotta say it after all that.
Well, it looks like you're hailing Hitler right now, so.
I didn't come from here. I came from here.
What?
I shoot from the hip.
What's your key piece? Hitler.
I don't like that at all.
He's like, it's moment's past. Go on with it.
But all that being said, being there. There's something about a varsity coach being at a 6th grade game. You can't tell me when that 6th grader is older, even if he's not the coach of that school anymore.
Yeah.
But the coach is still willing to do that they know this is what they do.
That 6th grade is playing way harder. Way harder just seeing them.
The only 8th grade game I remember playing was a game that afterwards I heard it was either Combs or the JV or freshman coach told me, was like, hey, you guys got beat. Probably could have like made this respectable and had a chance to win if you were running zone. High school doesn't run zone. I appreciate you staying in man the whole time. And just the fact that I know that they said that and that they were there, it's like, hey, I remember that specific game.
Now, there are definitely times, though, for the player, it goes the exact opposite way. Because my freshman year, you know, we got Dylan Swingle. He's making some noise playing AU, right? Obviously, Shu's coach, Shu's friends with Bob Huggins. Talks with Bob Huggins. Bob Huggins actually shows up to the Unioda game we're playing, sits right behind the bench, right? Probably one of the only times I get the ball at the top of the key. I grab it, I'm looking at the post, and I go to turn to the wing, and I just see Bob Huggins sitting behind our bench. I'm just like, it just shit down my leg, bro. Held the ball, got stolen from me, got a layup, right down the game, and she's just like, Archer, what the hell's wrong with you, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like Bob Huggins is sitting right here. I suck. Why did I even have the ball, coach? I don't understand. But yeah, like going what you're saying, man, just the coach showing up, yeah, it keeps the one being that program, but it also is like, I'm about to play my ass off for this guy.
But no, like, tell me that when you see like a 6th grader just have the confidence to put up a bucket.
Yeah.
And you see that as a coach, I don't care in 5 years, that confidence doesn't change.
Yeah.
Like, it's already there.
Yeah.
When you even have a little inkling, I don't care if you watched 10 minutes of that game and you had to come talk to a bunch of idiots and miss the other part of it.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's something, man. And I think kids appreciate it. And I think that's a Unioda culture thing. When I brought up someone that I work with, Mackenzie Vanderpool, she was an amazing basketball player, went on to play college basketball as well. But, like, she always said,
That time at Unioda.
Sites was there
Yeah.
at that time.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where she just always felt comfortable. And she was like, even when I was injured, I still felt like I was part of the team. And I'm like, to say that, I don't think that doesn't resonate throughout the rest of the year.
Right. Now, switching the focus on over to boys. Now, we don't have their tournament bracket out. I think that's going to come out either this Sunday or the next Sunday. Still got a few more games to go. But some key games for some key teams. So, first team I want to start with, Westfall, man. They are 13-5, 8-2 in the league. While Unio's 8-1, they're right behind Unioda. They've been on a 5-game win streak, and they play Unioda tomorrow. So if they win,
Three-way tie.
Well, I don't know how that would work because they would be 9-2, and Unioda would be 8-2. So wouldn't Westfall, for the time being, be first place because they've played one more game? Is that how that would work?
They would, but Unioda would have to win out, I believe.
Yeah. So then if they lost, Unioda would have to win out. If it's a tiebreaker, it's technically a tie, but I think it would go to Unioda if they won by more points or something. But what I want to get at is, with them being on a 5-game win streak, right? They beat Zane Trace. Now, I know Zane Trace has kind of started to fall here with Langley being out. I feel like that's a confidence
Do we have
booster,
a timetable on Langley
No.
right now?
No one. I've asked multiple people like inside the Zane Trace organization, and they've all said couldn't tell you, which tells
Do you
me
know
they
who
know.
was asking for Carter Langley information during the football season? Us.
Yeah.
We were literally being like, so what do you know about Carter? He's
And
gonna
they're
play?
just like, don't
He's
know.
gonna play?
Which
And-
I respect, man. I respect.
No,
just not
we didn't
letting
ask them. I'm saying people were asking
Yeah.
us. They wanted
Yeah.
inside info because it's so locked down.
Yeah,
They were
it's-
literally like, so is he playing? I'm like, don't you play for Blackton?
Yeah.
I didn't say shit.
It's like, wait, you're on the Zane Trace football team. Like, what? I should be asking you.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like beating them because when they beat them, they were still first in the conference.
Zane
right?
Trace was?
Was.
Yes.
So beating a team like that after losing to Unioda.
Well, at that point, wouldn't it have been a tie technically because Unioda would have just beat them?
Yeah, but Westfall, I think, was still sitting at 4.
Yeah.
So
I was
for-
just saying it was a tie between Unioda and Zane Trace at the
Yeah.
top there.
So beating them puts in that confidence. Then I think that's what sparks his 5-game win streak. And beating them after losing to Unioda the way they lost to Unioda that first time, like with it kind of being well in the control of Unioda at Unioda, I think that win over Westfall, huge confidence booster because they also, over Zane Trace, huge confidence booster. And they also lost to Adina. That was their second loss, right? Here is their last 4 games. Unioda tomorrow, Piketon, Zane Trace, and Adina. So I feel like this Unioda game for Westfall is the absolute pinnacle on how not just the rest of the regular season might go, but the tournament as well. Because it's at home. It's going to be electric. Logan Stepp, let me know if we can be there to cover. And it's going to be like on the grasp of winner gets first place. Now, I feel like Unioda has the edge solely because they've won, and this is not their first winner gets first place league game this year.
Inconsistency.
Yeah, but 2, I also feel like you win this game, right? Love Piketon. Probably going to beat Piketon as well. You play Zane Trace again. Langley's probably still out. You just beat Unioda. You beat him another time. You're hot. At that point, you're at 7-game win
That's
streak.
a game I think is dangerous. For
Yeah.
them. Especially if
Gotta
they beat
beat that one.
Unioda and they beat a Piketon and maybe Langley's still out. Maybe they.
You better
that's
watch
a
But
that.
scary
if they
one
win
for
that
'em.
one, so that puts them at 8, right? You're going into Adina after already losing to them with the league title on the line. I love Adina, but I would not want to be Adina. And then I feel like they could take that hotness and ride it right into the tournament and probably win a sectional title. Now, I don't know anything about districts, but I feel like literally Westfall's season could hinge on this game tomorrow night.
Yeah, and I'll say I feel like we'd be doing a little bit of an
pro-
injustice if we didn't. I know people say that, we're bandwagons and we like riding.
We're
steaks.
biased.
Yeah, we like riding steaks or hamburgers or something.
I'm more of a
something
ham-
or
Westfall this
or
season's
something
been
like that.
a little.
But I think it's going to be hard for Westfall to just get over this hump of Unioto. I think they're
yeah.
a great team.
Westfall's been like a little streaky. So
Well,
I,
listen to this.
I feel like they could sleep. What would be funny to me is they beat Unioto, sleep against Piketon, and then go ahead and beat Adina. Like, I feel like
here's the thing for Westfall too. Brody Clark. I mean, we already knew that guy was him. I mean,
Yeah.
He could be top 3 in the league, definitely on the list for Player of the Year candidate, 110%. He's had 20 points in every single one of these 5-game wins except for one, and that one he had 14 and was still the second leading scorer on the team. I feel like we have found the X factor for Westfall, and it's Jeremiah Layton, because every single time that guy goes off, Westfall goes off. But whenever he has a low night, man, he's had two low nights. He's had 2 low nights in league play, Adina and Unioto.
So something I'm noticing as well is Carter Langley was able to handle the Perkins boys down there.
Yeah.
Now I wouldn't say handle him like easily, but he was
Held
able
his
to
own,
he held his own versus 2. So if you have Layton, who's a little bit bigger,
Yeah.
a little taller, a little bit more weight on him, if he can hold his own down there, I think it's going to be a long night for Unioto. But
I'm telling you, if we pull up those preseason things when we yelled out our way too early,
I'm pretty sure
preseason
you
rankings,
said something about.
dude, I was big. Just returning and what he did last year, it's a completely
Mr.
different
Pate
team.
Valley going to number 4.
yeah, dude. Hey, they made a tourney.
We'll talk. We'll talk about them. We'll talk about them.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember. I could be in last place, but I think
Yeah, we definitely need to go check the tape.
Oh,
on those.
Payne Valley hurt me bad. Dude, they
for
hurt
me
me
though,
bad, dude.
I felt like Westfall and Zane Trace both were 2 teams that I was pretty high on, and it was because they had the returning big men.
Yeah.
And that goes back to it where it's like
I know I was pretty
he
high on
already was a
Adina.
stud last year. Okay, so they're losing games when he's not a stud.
I
It's
think
because,
and Brody Clark stepped up the way he did because again they
well, you
oh,
lose
man, I'm
you
blanking
lose
on the
Xander
name.
Ream.
No, Xander Ream left from Zane Trace. They lost.
No,
Who did
Who you
Zane
talk-
Trace
which
lose?
team are you talking about right
I'm
now?
talking about
Westfall.
Westfall. They lost. Man, I can't think of his name. And he follows us, so he's a big part of
The 3-point shooter?
man. I'll remember his name and I'll tweet him after the show and say, "Sorry, pal."
This is me thinking about Cade Wolford.
Yeah, but like, so he left. He was their number 1 guard last year for Westfall, and Clark was good last year. But everyone's like, who's gonna take his spot? And man, I was like saying it slow so I can remember his name. Did not, but Clark has shown he can put the team on his shoulders and take them where they need to go.
You got to have growing pains to where it's
Yeah.
You got to earn that respect, and I think he has. So when you go towards that tournament, he's got to be able to take that shot.
And they have
because that's the thing you don't. A lot of what I saw in the SVC is some teams didn't know who to give the ball to when they needed a bucket.
yeah, but from the beginning of the season,
Exactly.
Westfall has known Brody Clark.
But did he want to? We had him on. He's a very nice.
Yeah, but
nice
man, he
man.
has that like
He
no, I'm the
does,
shit.
but the
like,
thing is,
like,
Because we
not
were
as a-
talking about his defensive prowess. He was
and
like,
he's
no,
like,
I'm
nah,
better
man,
off-
watch me on offense.
Yeah.
And the cool part was, and I know like the way I'm saying it kind of sounds like, wow, that kid's a dick. He's not.
No,
He's
it was
stand up.
confidence,
It
not
was
cockiness.
all- yeah.
Yeah.
You said it 100% right. It was confidence, not cockiness, because he was still giving love on his teammates. And it,
He was also talking about the importance of also being a good 2-way player, being offense
But
and
that's
defense, but
exactly what I'm
prefers the
speaking on.
offensive
Is
end. Yeah.
when it comes to this stage of the year, you can't always care about your team when you're the best player.
yeah, and I think that's where he can separate himself.
I hope he does.
I think so because I think we saw it in this Paint Valley game. Because that's another thing I wanted to bring up, man. They're
I think
winning.
you have to care about your team to a certain point because you have to be like when
Yeah.
you're being selfish. It's like it's my time to be selfish. You care so much about your team. You're like, I don't care if I hurt people's
Well,
feelings.
here's the
I'm getting
thing.
us the
At
win.
the,
Yeah.
at the end of a game, I don't want to see him pass the ball.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying.
And
like,
but
that's-
what I'm saying from that is I don't think he is. I think he knows.
I think he isn't now. But I
Yeah.
think earlier on in the season, I don't know if he had that same confidence. I think
It
you
could've also
love the
been
guys
like
you
a-
play with.
It could have also
You
been
want them to get the
hey,
game
I'm
winner.
gonna be doing so good that I'm gonna draw people to me and get the open guy.
There was
True.
a couple
He
games.
could be thinking that way. I could see that.
There was a couple games where
And they've been.
I think he started with an off night, and then said, I don't need to have it on there.
But here's another thing, too. Like, they've been battle tested. Again, overtime, Zane Trace, double overtime with Pate Valley. And who's the guy that's been stepping up in those games? Brody Clark. So when we say close, I know Union's played for first place in the SVC, and Westfall really hasn't yet. But they still have played in close games where it's like, well, if we lose this, we're not even getting a chance to play for first place. So I still think you could put that there. But going to Union,
I love
Who's
how
player of the year right now?
it's a tough one. I was gonna say I love how that Westfall is probably in favor of certain levies to not pass. In the Grove City area.
Man, I don't know. I honestly think we're gonna find out our player of the year like this week.
Yeah.
Like I think there's like 4 players that are right there, and this week they're really going to separate themselves because I think I think 2 of them are on Uniota. Zeke Showblock and Blake Fitch. So I'm going to go ahead and transition there to Uniota, the team that Westfall's playing tomorrow for battle of first place. 12-5 overall, 8-1 in the league. Again, they beat Westfall the first time, 53-45, but it wasn't as close as that final score kind of shows there. Uniota really had a handle on that whole game. But Blake Fitch is a leader. I mean, the shot that he hit against Zane Trace, we're talking about. You're sitting here saying, hey, does Brody Clark the whole season want the ball, not want the ball? Blake Fitch has shown, I want the ball, and I'm going to make it happen.
But so does Zeke.
So that's what I'm saying with Uniota.
Does that hurt your case? We're talking player of the year, so I'm not saying
right.
I don't like that.
And here's my thing on player of the year, man. It's not MVP. It's not most valuable player. It's who was the best player in the league this year. You know what I mean? It's not like...
hold on. Not being from around here, is that how they vote?
I don't know. I would...
Because my thing is...
I'm super biased on this.
So I only know of the last couple player of the years, and they were all ballers. High point scorers.
Yeah.
It was almost easy to pick.
Yeah.
So in a year like this, do you think the voters would look at Brody Clark and be like, "Oh, dude, he's a shutdown defender"?
I think you bring up a good point there because this year where it's so close, you almost have to go with an MVP.
Dude,
over
every
best
other
player.
year we're bringing on guys
the
on
cool
this
thing
show
is
that are
you don't have to
elite
just go
basketball
with.
players.
Hey, this person was on the team that won.
That's
the
what I was
SVC.
trying to get at.
So,
It's the best player on the best team is not always the best. I'm gonna say it, best fucking player in the league, man.
Yeah.
Because Dylan Swingle never won the league
But
title
how
and
do
was
they
the
vote?
number 1 player in the league every single year.
But how do they vote?
But and this is what I'm gonna say, Logan Swackhammer, and this is not a hit take on Logan Swackhammer. That dude was a baller. But if you're sitting here and trying to tell me that him and Dylan Swingle are on the same level, I will no. That's just the answer. And they got co-player of the year.
Where did Swag go to college?
Not Division I, I'm pretty sure.
Well, it's not
that's
even
the big
that.
thing
Did he
that
break
we-
his school record? Or
Well, he did
He-
with assist, but he didn't break the county record with scoring.
Yeah,
he didn't
Swig was
average.
he is the leading scorer in the entire Ross County.
Yeah, Dylan.
No. Yeah, Dylan is Swackhammer.
Swackhammer
Did I
now
say
leads.
Swag? I thought I said Swingle.
No, we're talking about Swackhammer
Okay.
though. So Swackhammer does have a record. He has the most assists in a game and most assists in a season, and I want to say most assists in a career at Uniota.
Now, let me ask you this, and we're not trying to be rude to anybody that happened. Were they nice? Were they nice assists?
No,
Were
they're
they
nice assists, but here's what I'm
Did
saying.
he have a shooter on his team? I guess my question
Dude,
is,
you
it's like,
first and foremost.
you don't want to disrespect the assist.
No, I'm not disrespecting the
Not
assist
you
at
are.
all.
I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying I'm learning information to figure out
So-
why they made this choice.
Why I think they made that choice is because he, as an overall player, first off, real quick,
John Stockton type
Uniota
shit.
always has shooters. Just
Yeah.
know that. So like he had shooters, then they had shooters after him, they had shooters before. Uniota always has shooters.
Oh, that guy played for Uniota? I
Yeah.
also did not know that.
So here's the thing with Swack. He was 100% the best player on the best team. So I think with the league, they were like, well, is Dylan
That's
the
MVP usually what
yeah,
happens?
like
you know?
like Dylan's the best player in the league. But like, how do we not give any respect to Logan? So they did a co-MVP. And here's my thing. No, I feel like you take more away from the MVP trophy. Now, this is just my personal opinion. If you have another opinion, I don't really care.
Here's my other
you can have
opinion.
it. What is it?
That big man almost gets more swagger because you are forced to share that award with me. Like, if I'm Swingle, I'm literally sitting there, Big D
It's like, bro, I took
swagging.
the chair at the table. They had to get you
Because
the
the
chair
thing is,
for
it's
the
like,
table.
I don't necessarily...
And hold on, time out real quick. Not a hit piece on Logan Swackhammer at all whatsoever. Kid's a dog, still playing in college right now. He would kick my ass one-on-one every single day of the week. So don't hear what we're not saying. We're talking more about an award rather than the players that won the award.
But you look at it when you're breaking record for assists and different things like that, you almost feel like, they have to get some type of...
Well, that was
nod.
they were the same grade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like that was probably their senior year. Maybe give it to Dylan the junior year, so that way you can just give it to Swackhammer.
So what happened
year,
is they
so
gave
that
it
way
to
you don't have a
Dylan
co.
junior year, and then senior year did a co.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Swingle probably showed up and was like super dope. And
So like
"Man."
Swingle, I guess you have that. We're like, yeah, buddy. Like I've been here 2 years, bro. You've been here one. And
That could have been another thing. They're like, we don't want to just give it back to him, so we'll go ahead and
see,
do
but
a
they've
co.
done that notoriously.
yeah.
They have done that like Nick Corcoran.
But what
I'm pretty sure
is,
was back to back.
I like that it's not two guards. I like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I
so
like
that
the
does
fact
make sense because you're trying to compare a point
Because
guard and a center.
when it's the
That's
second
the-
you brought up assist,
Yeah.
if you literally said that he scored less points than him, I'd be like, well, then what the hell
And
is this even
and
conversation?
here's the thing on Swackhammer side for those assists. It wasn't just a pass the open guy.
See, that's why I asked.
It was like a Steve Nash assist.
Thank you.
like,
That's why
yeah.
I literally
Yeah, they were
asked.
nice assists. It wasn't just like
I was asking, like,
yeah.
these assists, is it just because he had shooters? That's
no,
the sole reason
like
I asked
he was
that
getting
question.
people open. You know what I
Gotcha.
mean? He was like a quarterback on the court. But my biggest thing was you just couldn't watch a game even when they played each other. Like you couldn't look at Swackhammer and then look at Swingle and just say they're on the same level. And that is again not a knock against Swackhammer at all whatsoever.
Especially because when you have the ability to dominate a game through passing and playmaking,
Yeah.
it doesn't show up on the tapes as well as somebody that's putting the ball in the bucket.
Exactly. And this, I want to lead me into Adina, okay? Because I read an article by our good friend Jack over at the Gazette, and he wrote it on
He's the man, by the way.
Oh, dude, he's a dog. But he wrote about Adina, and they've won 9 out of their last 12, right? They went on a 4-game losing streak, looked at each other and said, what the hell? What the hell's going on here? We got to figure it out. So what Olicker said is that, they went back, they watched the tape, and here's a big thing that he does. And if you're a parent, I need you to look right into the camera right now. He gives them criticism. He criticizes them. He says, hey, you see that shot? That was bad. You shouldn't have taken that shot. Hey, this defense, that's bad. You need to do this better. You need to do that better. He gets on them. He says, you're not playing good. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to sit here.
That's why we applauded Miller for doing that exact same
because
thing.
he sits there and says, you're not good at this. Be better. And I feel like that's something that is just missing right now.
It's
And
one
that's
thing
where
if
the
these guys and
trophy
these
comes
coaches
in.
were saying be better and then not giving
And-
these players the tools to actually
Yeah,
be better.
he's
No,
saying-
they're giving them all the tools to be better, and they're just trying to push them.
They're saying, I
harder
want
and
you to
harder.
work
Yeah.
harder. Yes. And I feel like this can tie in, and this is like a whole political thing, I guess. But I feel like that ties in with the trophy, man. People are just afraid to say, hey, this guy's just better than you. I'm
Everybody
sorry.
wants to say, well, my baby's just as special as your baby. Yeah.
No,
to
actually,
you. Your
it-
baby is special to you. Their baby's special to them. I don't care about either baby.
If my mom tried to look at somebody and say, my baby's just special as Swingle, I'd look at my mom and say, no, he's not. I'm not scoring 1,700 points going D1, Mom. Like, that's just not in the cards for me. But that's what I want to talk about Adina, man. And I feel
There's
like
winners and losers in this world, people. Time to grow up and realize it.
My whole thing is like giving props to a props, dude. Like you don't have to be like, you have a chance to be a better.
Hey, you know
scorer.
that
Yeah.
you know
He
that
scored
hook that you
0 points
airballed
for
and
3
it knocked
years.
that old lady out?
yeah.
Good job.
Yeah, no,
You tell,
that
that
was
was an
terrible.
awful shot. The best thing about it was that lady. It was funny.
And again, it's
That
not.
lady
and
died.
I want to emphasize here. One, I'm paraphrasing. Olicker is not sitting there saying y'all suck, be better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not like looking at the film and saying I'm looking for things to critique them. Like it's like, hey, we had a good game. I'm telling you, good game. We had a good game. Do we have some lowlights? Yes, but who cares? Good
Also, it's kind
overall.
of like the hey, you guys are doing these things good. This is how you can do better.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna let you know you can do better,
I'll
and I'm
tell
gonna
you
get
right
you
now,
to do better.
There
and
was
then we're
multiple
gonna be better.
games that I had very good stats in that I knew damn well right I was still getting yelled at.
Yeah.
It's like you used to be at 4 steals, 6 rebounds, like 7 points. I was not a scorer.
Dude.
5 assists, and I'm like, damn, that sounds like a good game, but I still knew I was getting reamed out in practice because I didn't do the right things.
Yeah, so I hit a wide open 3 one time. I didn't shoot the basketball, right? And it went in, and I was like, oh, Shoe's going to be I was naive. I was like, Shoe's about to be pumped. Like, I hit a 3. He called a timeout. That 30-second timeout was for me. What the hell do you think you're doing? Have I ever told you you can shoot a 3? You know what I mean? And
That's exactly what it is.
And what it is it's holding people for an accountability. Yeah, you shot it, and it turned out good, but look at your shooting percentage. You're 1 out of 10 most of the time. That was your 1. Like,
but there's also something that shines with coaches, and it's like effort and things like that. So if I had a good game, Coach Conroy, like I didn't really feel like he always felt that way because, we did a full court press and you bitched out in 2 minutes.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I definitely did. Yeah.
But again,
I had 20.
Yeah.
And he's like, you bitched in 2 minutes.
but like, going back to Olicker, man, he's still giving the like when they do good, he's like, good job. And I appreciate the kids. The kids are like, we gotta turn this around, man. Like nobody wants to lose, and taking the onus of being like, coach is being hard on us, but we need it. I want to get better. And again, it's turned them around. They've won 12 out of 9. Like, how can you say it's not working?
12 out of 9.
Nope, 9 out of 12. That's what it was. I was like, what are you talking about? But I knew when I said it, I had to think about that for a
I
second.
thought you were asking. That's why
No.
I thought you were asking me specifically.
I
was
said
like,
12 out of
you, and I was literally like,
I
Why are you
said
looking at
12
me
out
like
of
that?
9, and then I was looking at Adam.
Didn't even exist.
I was looking at Adam. I was like, 12 out of 9, and then I stopped.
I know. And I was like, is this a question? Why are you asking me,
I
dude?
gave you
Like-
the levy though because I was literally
I love
like,
how
yeah,
Adam-
12 out of 9. Do that math. Go
I
ahead,
love how
make it
Adam
right
was
way.
just like, yes. like, I know you're wrong. I'm just not gonna say it. But again, I want to put on, man, the kids. They've taken the onus and they're like, look, we were tired of losing. We went to the film. We saw what we were doing wrong. We started hitting it in practice, and it's changed the complete outcome of the season. And they were a team that we thought at the beginning of the year was going to be hot. We thought they were going to be a run and gun team. We thought they were going to win a lot of games. I think I picked them to finish first or second, honestly, in the league. And they're staying in the middle of the road, but they're a team that's getting hot right now, right before the tournament. They could be a bitch before the tournament time.
No,
Yeah, I think I had them like second or third, but
it's going to be an annoying cast too. When I bring up that Piketon game, Piketon has fun playing basketball. Like if you catch them on a day that they're having fun, like they'll fuck around and they'll F around and beat somebody like a.
the backtrack didn't help.
That made it even more prominent. But they'll mess around and they'll beat teams like that. So
They were definitely having fun in a game that we were at when they beat Waverly.
Yeah.
But I think
It's
again,
that
I think
terrible
that
coach.
I would say that's the players playing hard and then just Waverly being outcoached.
Yeah. But what I like is that he used the word in the article, constructive criticism. He's not criticizing saying like, you suck, you suck, you suck. He's saying, hey, you didn't do this good. Do this, kind of work on this a little bit, then you'll get there. And he said, like, I could see that the kids are kind of starting to see that.
Yeah,
Like,
constructive criticism is called that because it's designed to build people up
Yeah.
while letting them know their
do
problems.
you know the
It's
key
literally
piece about
in
it is when you know someone cares about you or even has given you a compliment before, when they give you that constructive criticism, it's just always better. It's like these coaches, they're not sitting there giving constructive criticism 24/7.
Yeah, see, I grew
but
up
it
with
has
just
to
criticism.
happen.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
my thing.
That
It's like they're getting pissed about
and I started getting coaches that were
25%.
like, "Hey, this is what you're doing wrong. But this is how you can fix it." I was like, "There's more. There's more to it. You're just not telling me what I did bad. You're
It's
telling
like,
me how to
dude, you
fix
told me I
it."
sucked at getting lateral movement last week, so I've been in my backyard crab walking for 6
You told me,
days.
but you told me how to fix it, not just, "Oh, you suck and you're always gonna be sucking at it and you're gonna be garbage." No,
Yeah.
it's you suck at it now, but if you work with me,
If you
you're
don't
not gonna suck
acknowledge
at
it.
it forever.
it's kind of like the guy from Napoleon Dynamite. Who's ready to sign up for this 8-week program?
Rex Kwando.
Yeah, Rex
baby.
Kwando. Yeah. But no, this is the line that I was looking for from Easton Hennis. It just speaks to everything.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. There's sometimes that
Hold on.
I preach players. I've been preaching Easton Hennis.
He said to Jack in very simple words, I think we were just tired of losing. That's all it takes, man. Once you're sitting there looking in the mirror, looking at the player at your co-players, you're just like, yeah, dude, this losing shit sucks. Like, I'm done with it. And I feel like Easton is a big leader on that team. And this is what I see. Boss, I'm not losing 4 in a row. Let's pick it up. Let's win this game. Like, and I feel like that. And they were like, yeah, let's go. And they've taken the baton. They've just ran with it. So
is Humpty coming on?
I think so. I texted him. He should be coming on. Not 100% sure. That man is.
Because I was gonna force my cousin from Medina basketball.
Text him. But no, Humpty. Ladies and
Big
gentlemen,
Kurt.
very hard worker. He owns his own business. We'll make sure that we get that out for you guys because if you need some walls painted in your house or anything like that, you want to get a hold of Humpty Hitchens. It's Perfection Painting, I want to say is the name. But he could be hard at work right now. Send him a text. He should be coming on. Want to transition over to Paint Valley, though, Adam. I know that you were big with them on the beginning of the season. I think Paint Valley's actually really starting to find their groove, man. So they had a big dub last week over Piketon in a close 62-61 game. They have 7 losses this year by 4 or less points.
I'm going to go out on another limb, and I'm going to say they're going to be one of the 4 remaining teams. They're going to make it. They're going to be the 4th. Like they're going to make it that far.
So you think they'll be in the top 4?
Yeah,
of
they're
the
going to
FCC
They're going to outlast 4 other teams in the tournament.
Okay.
I
mean, again,
doubling down on it, baby. I was
so-
wrong during the regular season. I ain't going to be wrong here. It's the shoe effect.
So
He
I'm
said
gonna-
it's not about what we do in the regular season. It's about what we do in into February and March.
So I'm going to ask you to put your money where your mouth is. They play Uniota twice to end out the season.
To end out the season?
Yeah, they got them this week, and they got them again next week for a makeup game. Either one of those dubs.
That's good.
So before, hold on. So I'll give you a minute to think about it.
Tough game.
Hold on.
It's gonna be
Before,
tough game.
I'll
Moving
give
out
you-
of the corner because
hold on. I'll give you a minute to think about it, and I'll list you the last 5 games. All right. Lost to Huntington, 59-58. Lost to Westfall in double overtime, 66-64. Beat Western 66-56. Beat Piketon 62-61. Lost to a good Valley team 56-52. Oh, and lost to Southeastern 44-43.
So let me ask you this.
And
What are the
one more.
orders?
Lost to Adena 53-50. So they've been right there in those games.
So let me ask you this. Where do they play first? They play at Uniota, then at Paint Valley, or do they play at Paint Valley, then at Uniota? Because that's going to dictate what I say.
Oh, we got Humpty on. One sec, I think they play. Let me get this up here real quick.
Where do you see him at?
He's in the bottom left.
Oh, there he is.
Hell yeah.
I was looking at the other
Uniota.
call, the
Sorry, here we are. Schedule. Because I want to hear your take on this real quick. So they play at Paint Valley Friday.
Oh, they're losing
And then
both.
next Tuesday, they play at Union. So you think Paint Valley's losing both?
I think they're going to lose
Okay.
both of them. Yeah.
Okay.
The biggest reason for that, I feel like if they could withstand Uniota at home and then get that second game at Paint Valley,
Yeah.
maybe have a couple of their tricks, a couple of their some
Tricks up
good
their sleeve.
scouting,
Yeah.
so kind of see what they're about, feel them out, then they would have a better chance at playing them at home. But where it's going to be the first time they're playing each other, playing at Paint Valley, I think it's going to be a hard-fought battle. I think Uniota gets that one. I think they get them pretty bad at home.
And they start rolling into that tournament on an
Yeah.
absolute heater. Now, we're talking about
And then
losing.
Paint Valley's going to be so pumped up that
They're just going to win the state title.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. They're definitely going to be lasting longer than 4 of the other SVC teams.
Well, there is a man that we know that has won a state title, the only state title in Chillicothe basketball history, graduated as the leading scorer in the county. Now, Chillicothe Hall of Famer, an absolute legend, Humpty Hitchens! What's going on, my
How
man?
you doing, fellas? How y'all doing, man? I appreciate you having me, man.
Hey, man.
Now, are you on a phone?
I am. Do I need to get on my computer?
I was just trying to turn it sideways.
Turn it sideways.
Sideways. There we go.
It's a little bigger.
Yeah,
that's
there we go. All right. We couldn't see you there a little bit, but we're all good now.
so much greatness. Just can't have a whole lot of it on screen. Just overpower.
Now, Humpty, I'm just gonna say it. A lot of people had, LeBron and a lot of I was growing up. I'm not afraid to admit you're my absolute idol, man. Watching the way that you conduct yourself on the court, I mean, just completely taking over a game. That pass to Chambers for the state title will live rent free forever in my head. But before I start going back to the glory days, I gotta ask, what did it mean for you this past weekend to finally be inducted into that Chillicothe Hall of Fame, man?
It's a surreal moment, man. Honestly, I was talking to my wife and just being honest and transparent. It was never a goal of mine to, be a Hall of Famer. And I never thought about that being in school. You know what I mean? Even when it comes to being a leading scorer, all state, all of those things never were really goals. You know what I mean? My goal was to win state. You know what I mean? And the different accolades that came with it. But this last weekend or past, it was actually not was it yet, or a couple days ago. This is a surreal moment, man. Just take me back to when we was actually playing and just
Yeah.
think about all the moments, having conversation with some of the guys. Uh, I mean, just another monumental moment in his history, honestly.
Yeah, and so I kind of got a little lucky. My brother Ross was in your grade, so I got to kind of watch you
Uh-huh.
guys from 7th grade all the way up to senior year. And I mean, I was just a kid watching you in junior high, but like I felt like you could still see like, man, there's just something different about this kid. And then
Yeah.
I know you had that great relationship with Kello. What was it like getting to? I feel like with a historic player and with a historic coach, just great things happen. What was kind of you and Kello's relationship with your time at Chillicothe?
That's a great question. He was just a wizard, somebody that believed in me
Yeah,
since when I was 14. When I went out to Zane Trace, it's crazy because I was debating to go to Greenfield to play with Dante,
yeah,
or it was a school in Cincinnati, and then it came to Coach K, and he just literally he had confidence in me, um, and he actually coached me, and he let me do what I did, but also too he was able to teach me what he taught me, and I actually had a conversation with him the other day, and I just let him know how much I did appreciate him, letting him know that it meant a lot for me seeing a man that was so great of a coach believe in me at the age of 14 and sticking with me all the way to senior year, and we did what we was set out to do, and that was to win state.
yeah, man. You put your name in history, man.
Dude, I'm from Philadelphia, and I drive past a sign that says
Yeah.
your 2008
2007, 2008, Chillicothe Cavaliers state champs, baby. I want to ask, man. So we got the tournaments right around the corner. I think the girls start like their brackets just came out, so I think it's starting in about a week. Then the boys are going to be starting right after it. What was preparation like for you guys, kind of going into the tournament? Like, first I want to ask, what was it like the first couple of years, like as a freshman, sophomore, versus how it was that last year when you won state? The confidence, the comfortability. What was it like for you guys over there at Chillicothe?
Uh, that's a great question as well because we literally just talked about this. Freshman year was like just getting a feel for the game, getting a feel. Even though I had confidence in myself, it's just different. Coming from eighth grade, being a freshman playing against seniors and juniors, the game was faster. A lot of guys were stronger. So freshman year was a get a feel for it. Sophomore year for us, a lot of people don't know it was kind of hectic. We was bouncing around from gym to gym. Even though we had a good basketball team, it was a rough year. Junior year, on the other hand, I honestly feel like we should have won it. We lost to DeSales. I believe it was in the regionals.
Yeah.
And I would love to have won it because Chris Gibbons was on that team, and I believe that was a year that we definitely should have won it. Come senior year, it was just
This is our time.
it literally was, and losing to Toledo Libby on Ohio State floor, just telling the guys that we'll be back. You know what I mean? This is where state is, and we'll be back. But just getting that feel, but it was really just we had a lot of confidence going into senior year.
How are those
Preparation every
practices,
game.
man? You guys
Yeah,
were
how-
all
Oh,
dog.
we
I
had
mean,
some brutal
'cause
practices.
you had Knight dog on football. You had dog at baseball. You had you and Ray. No explanation needed there. Those practices had to be intense, man.
Yeah, like what did you guys do to get
We-
better?
We just worked. We Coach K. I mean, let me tell you this. We ran a lot.
Yeah.
We ran a lot. And we just sometimes you could like looking back, for some of the guys now that don't understand what preparation is and just the fundamentals. But we took a lot of things back to fundamentals. We run our plays a lot. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just to make sure we all on one accord. To make sure we all on the same beat and just understanding, okay, what he gonna do in this situation or how's he gonna react in this situation. But our practices were fun. We
A
had
lot
a
of
lot
trash
of
talk?
intense practices. Of course, I mean,
Hell
what's
yeah, I love
basketball
it.
without that? I'll
Dude,
never
I watched
forget,
you in open gyms talk so much trash to people that they couldn't handle it,
That's
and you're just
part of
sitting there
it.
laughing in
That's-
their face, man. It was awesome.
No, because I grew up playing with a lot of guys older than me, and that's what they did to me. And I truly believe that makes you better. And if you can withstand a little bit of trash talk as well as still produce during the game, that's part of it. And I think that's what fueled me. When people talk stuff, I love it. I mean, I don't like some people don't like when people talk stuff, but I mean, I truly believe that's part of it, and it excites me.
It's the game within the
I
game.
like it. I want you to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But we had some brutal practices, and I think that's what made us closer as a unit, and that's what made us better, definitely. Especially in those tight games where the games are a little closer.
Yeah.
And we played a lot of situational basketball in practice, so we'll
Dude, that is
be
something
down
I feel like
3
that
or
is
4
not
minutes.
happening right now
At
in the
all.
practices where they're like, hey, 10 seconds on the clock, got to get a shot up, or like, hey, 2 minutes on the clock, we're up 10, like, hold the ball. I feel like that's just like situational basketball, I feel like is a lost art in practices in high school nowadays.
I blame NBA 2K because the
Hell
kids
yeah.
are different these days.
Yeah.
The kids are a lot of social media and a lot
Yeah.
of video games to where
They're not
I mean we
watching
had
how
them,
to
but
press
we
videos.
I remember when I was growing up, I watched a lot of I used to watch Rip Hamilton, just how he moved off the ball.
Dude, I love that guy.
A lot of
Westchester
Allen
native,
Iverson.
baby. That's Coatesville. That's
Was
my
Dre-
area.
Was Dre Baldwin doing his thing? Like, release
Who,
a vi-
who is it?
it's Dre
Uh,
Baldwin. He was kind of like right around probably like right after you stopped or right when you were in college. But he was just somebody that was teaching people moves and stuff like that. He's who I got most of my moves from. Was just I don't know.
Oh,
Dre
I'm
Baldwin.
not. I haven't heard of the name.
Dre all day is what his handle was, but he was like an and one hooper.
Rip Hamilton was supposed to come to one of my basketball camps and didn't show, so I will hold
He
that
probably
against
heard
him
you
for
were
the rest
there.
of
It
his
was like,
life.
I'm
He's
not
like,
going where that
"Oh,
Tony guy's at.
No, he was a great. I don't think players nowadays watch YouTube videos of players and just
Yeah.
like even when I watch basketball now, like I might watch one specific player and just see what he does off the ball, on the ball, and just study the game. I
Yeah.
don't think kids do that nowadays.
No, they-
Everybody
I feel
wants
like
to
they
be
We've
more
had
watch-
street
coaches on here
smooth.
multiple times
I
saying
feel like
that
they watch the game, not study the game.
Well, they see Kevin Durant and they'll see him do a hezzy jumper. What do? They immediately put it in on YouTube. And one of my best friends is a coach, and he just says, we have kids that can chump up a three at over 50%.
Yeah.
But could barely shoot an offhand layup.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, Humpty, you're talking about those close games and everything. There's one team that I want to talk to you about because I've been to Unio Zane Trace games and people think that's insane. You didn't live if you didn't go to a Chillicothe Zanesville game in the mid to late 2000s. I mean, two absolute powerhouses going at each other. I think you even met in the tournament a couple of times. What were those
We played
games
Zanesville.
like, man?
I remember we played Zanesville 3 times in 2 weeks. It's so crazy because I hated playing them, but I love playing them at the same time. Because we matched up very well. They had a guard, they had a small forward, and they had a big. And you just knew that the lights was on and you
Yeah.
had to come ready to play. It was always intense. I'll never forget at Zanesville, my dad got kicked out of the game. And
hell yeah.
I will never, ever forget it. But in that moment, when he got kicked out, Nate, that their fans going wild, and I'll never forget. He was, I think, eating peanut M&Ms walking out of the gym. But something inside of me just fueled me to turn up, and I think we got the win in Zanesville. But they was always a great team to play against. I love those type of games as much as the anxiousness, the nervousness, and different things like that. But them are the games you want to play in, just to see where you at as a ball player. You know what I
see
mean?
what you're made of, man. Like, this is the moment.
They was always good, and
Yeah.
they came ready to play, and you knew it was going to be a hard fought game every time you played them. And like I said, that's what make you who you are.
And now I want to ask. So you say you lose to Liberty, right? Which I'm pretty sure that's who you played in the state finals, if I'm not mistaken, right?
We lost to Toledo Liberty by 16 my junior year.
Yeah. So the senior year, you come back, you're going on this run. You guys played great in that Final Four game. I mean, I don't think anybody the whole game was like, Chillicothe's losing this. Like, I feel like third quarter, booked the tickets for the next game. When you're coming out, man, state finals, you see just that sea of white of that student section. Place going absolutely wild. First, I got to ask, what was that like for you, man?
You saying after the state game or before?
No, walking out for the state game, and you just see all that support, man. What was that feeling like? Did you soak it in?
It's so crazy because when you're on that court, me personally, it's moments where you don't hear nothing from me. You know what I mean? Even though it's so many people there, you be so locked in to what's going on. But of course, when something happens and you hear them roaring, you know what I mean? It's nothing like
gets that heart
crowd
pumping.
going crazy for you. But it was plenty of times during that game, like on the last play, it went silent for me when the ball's rolling around and then it eventually dropped. I couldn't hear nothing. You know what I mean? I'm just standing there in amazement, like, did this really happen? You know. And then I came back to reality, and now I can hear everything. It's like I went deaf for a second, but it's amazing. Cavalier Pride is like they showed up for us, and when you have a crowd behind you like that, it definitely gives you a little fire and give you a little fuel to play a little harder. I'm just glad we was able to come out with the win because we was down 16 in that game as well.
And then go into overtime. I'm sorry, I'm getting so pumped just like reliving this in my head. You guys go into overtime, come back from that 16-point deficit. I got a two-parter here for you. Again, I'm sorry, I'm really excited about it because I've wondered this my whole life. So going into overtime, I want to know, what did Coach K say to you guys? And then second part of this, what was he saying in that huddle? Because I know what's up, little man?
Yes, sir.
Humpty Hitchens, second coming out here, the new state champ right there for you.
Can you say hi?
Hey, my son, I got a 2.5-year-old bud. He would freeze the same way, bud.
Yeah, here, go with mommy. Go with mommy. Yeah, my kid's about to be 3 and 2.
Dude, it's the same thing down in my basement. I hop on the podcast sometimes when I'm at my house, and same thing. I can bring the little man on a couple times just because they love that.
But no, so what's he saying to you going into overtime? And then part two, he takes that timeout. You guys go in the huddle right before the most magical play in Chillicothe history. What was he saying in that, and how did that play come to? How to get drawn up? Just kind of speak on those two things for us.
Okay, so the first question, we go into overtime. Just being honest, I didn't want to go into overtime.
I don't blame you.
We was up two, and Julius, I'll never forget, he hit the free throw. We called a timeout. He iced the second free throw. That was actually in overtime, but he tied it up, and so we in a timeout, and I got my head down. I got the towel over my head because I'm like, man, I don't want to go in overtime. I'm like, I don't know if we got enough to go another 4 or 5 minutes. You know what I mean? But the play he drew up, coach coming to the huddle, and he drew up something, he erased it. He drew up something, he erased it. He drew up something. I'm like, get me the ball. I'm like, because in my mind, I'm like, I don't care if I shot a 90-footer or a layup. I was shooting the ball. And so he draws X's and O's. He tells Seth to go over here. He tells Stewart to go over here, get me the ball in bounds. He said, Humpty, make a play, and y'all just spot up. And like I said, the whole time, I had no intentions on passing the ball. Not even a 0.1%. I knew I was gonna shoot it, make or miss. And as I broke the press, I'm dribbling down court. I don't know how I stayed in bounds.
I mean,
I get to
tiptoeing in my Jordans, bro. You were right on that line. It was insane. Sorry.
yeah. I don't know how I did it, but Will came to stop me, and even in that moment, I'm like, I'm gonna pull up, and my reaction just bounced past it, and Ray finished it for us.
Two things I love about that. One, Coach K just being like, Humpty, go be Humpty. Like, Jesus Christ. And then you being like,
There's not enough of that.
you pulling the, Coach, give me the damn ball, bro. Like, because we were just talking
My
earlier.
favorite part about this whole thing is he was like, I was not passing the ball.
Yeah.
I was not doing
No,
it.
I wasn't.
And
No
then-
chance.
We
yeah.
gonna
And then he passed.
we gonna
Yeah.
lose on me, or we gonna win or lose on me. And
Because we were just talking earlier in the show, man, like about like some kids around the league right now where I think they've kind of grown into that role of like, hey, I want the ball at the end. I feel like with you, man, like out the womb, Stone Cold Killer, give me the ball, I'm gonna win the damn game for us.
no, for sure. And I wasn't the best free throw shooter in high school, but I was hoping I got fouled because I knew I was gonna make those free throws, and I felt like that
Fuck
was
sir.
yes,
easier.
dude.
You know what I mean? But it just the basketball gods worked in our favor, man. Like I said, I think going back and looking at even right after the game and 2 days after the game, a year after the game, I always wonder why they pressed us. Because if it was me, I probably would have had some people lined up to the volleyball line.
Or like half court, because as soon as you break the press, exactly what happened. Like you're wide open, you're exposed. It's a 1-on-2. So I kind of agree.
But
with
also
that.
too, you think? I mean, I don't want to brag on myself, but I'm a little smart. So as they double team me, like I always was taught, when you get double teamed, don't look at it as a double team. You look at who you think is the weaker opponent and play one-on-one with that person.
Oh hell
Okay.
yeah!
So what I did was, the guy that was bigger than me, I was already stepping on his foot. So I felt like I already had him beat. So all I had to worry about is the one, because I was stepping on one of the guy's foot anyway.
That's one
So
of my
once I
favorite
got the
moves of all
ball, I
time.
kind of already had my momentum, and it was kind of on to the races. If I'm running full speed ahead and there's somebody standing flat-footed at half court, I'm gonna go past you or you gonna foul me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
then it was just a point of the matter of making a play or shooting the ball, and somebody took over me because I was supposed to shoot it. and
He
then
said, "Listen,
passed.
Humpty Hitchens didn't pass that ball. Okay, I don't know who did it, I don't know what did it, but it wasn't me." But
Ray willed that ball out of his
yeah,
hands.
Ray
dude.
said, "You're giving me the ball." And
I just felt like I just had to pass it, right?
it
He's
seemed
6'7",
very
standing under the
natural. It
block.
seemed like a knee jerk reaction watching it live. It seemed like you're like, "Dude comes to me, I pass. Like this is just what I like. When this happens, this
No,
is
for
what
sure.
happens." So, and then Ray. Oh my God! It was almost a little too hard. I mean, it hit the front of that rim, and I was like, "Damn!" And then rolled back in. I was like, "Yeah, let's go!"
Because he said he was gonna dunk it, but he didn't know how much time was on the clock. And I'll never forget, man. I told him, I said, if you would have missed that, we'd have been fighting on national television.
he said they would have had Toledo cheering down there. Well, MMA just got invented at the other end of the court because we would have been going
but
down.
it rolled around and it rolled and then it fell, man. And it was just like,
What was that
this is
feeling
what
like?
it's about, man.
What was that feeling like? You've worked your ass off for 18 years to get this moment. You finally are a state title. What was that feeling like, man?
I mean, it's just an unbelievable feeling, man. Like I remember before the season, Coach K, we had an interview with someone and they asked us what did we think our record was gonna be that year. And Coach K said 20-0, and I was like, I say 17-3 because I knew we had our non-league schedule was pretty tough that year.
Yeah.
And I'm like 17-3, and honestly we could have went 25-1 because we definitely shouldn't have lost to Brookhaven the first game, but we ended up losing to them. But it's just, even talking about it now and looking back on it is a surreal thing. And
Only 2 losses.
one thing
the
I
whole
will
season.
say though, we had 2 losses. We never lost in our blue jerseys, and the Division One champs was Newark, and we beat them in the regular season. So I feel like we was the best team in the state.
Yeah, so
I'll
effectively
argue that you
Division
guys-
1 and 2 champs.
Look,
I'll
one thing-
say you guys were the best because you guys beat Vinton County, which is where I went to school, and route to that and beat like my cousins and stuff like that. So like, yeah, you guys are absolutely best team in
Yeah.
dude, around
high
here,
school Ohio history. Yes.
coming from around an area that's not from around here, and people are just like, well, when Humpty played, I
Yeah.
want you to know, like, you are also a thing where it's like,
You are the standard of guards.
it's like I've never met you before in my life,
Ross County.
but like I've heard your name 1,000 times.
Well, you don't understand, man.
Oh, you do a podcast about basketball? Let me. You ever hear about Humpty?
So growing up, I went to Paint Valley. Then I moved to Worthington with my brother. Went back there because he kind of left for like half a year. And then I went to Uniota. I had friends from Medina. I had friends from Westfall, and it was all just. You know that Humpty Hitchens kid from Chillicothe? I'm like, yeah, my idol? Yes, I know Humpty Hitchens. And I just want to ask, though, going into that game, because you guys were going up against, I'm pretty sure it's Buford, going to Ohio State. I felt like all eyes were on him. How did you kind of take that, A, personally, and B, how did the team kind of take that going up against some real firepower in that last game?
On paper, I mean, honestly, for me, it was a lot of guys like on the AAU circuit. Pretty good guys that have been in the NBA, guys that played overseas. But honestly, we never really worried about the other team. We worried about what we do, and if we knew if we did what we did, then we had a chance. I don't believe nobody really. We didn't talk much about them. I mean, of course, we ran their sets and different things. Of course, I knew Will.
You
was going
knew
to
him,
Ohio
but you
State
didn't
because-
really be like, I don't give a shit. He's going to Ohio State. I'm still going to kick his ass.
No, you respect them, but we was one confident team. One thing I can say, we was confident, and we had a bunch of guys that was hard blooded. You know, like that was tough, and we knew what we was capable of. So just as much as we see them on paper, they got to worry about us as well. But we definitely worried about what we worried about, and it was all about us. And you respect him because Will, I think he had 29 that game.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
He didn't get that ring.
We came out on top, and that's what it's about. Will's a good guy. I played against Will multiple times, man. He's a great ball player, man.
Yeah, he went to Ohio State, man, too, and had a great career. So, like, and that's what I was saying. And for him to play, I felt like almost at the top of his game. And then for you guys to play at the top of your game and win that, it just kind of showed, like that 08 team, man, was just so different. Not just from Chillicothe, but from, like, Ross County teams. Like, they were just different. Like you said, you guys walked in, and it was like the other team was like, oh, they're coming into our funeral because it was stone cold, straight face, like a silence went over the gym.
It's confidence, not cockiness, because it ended with a ship.
Yeah,
That's how you know it wasn't cockiness. It was confidence, 100%.
And now,
Adam,
sorry.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're good. Go.
No, it was. We beat up on each other in practices. Just being honest with you. And I was talking to Dan Ramey the other day, and it's a lot of things a lot of people don't know. But I remember, I'll never forget, it was a practice where me and Stuart got into it. Stuart Beverly, rest in peace to him. We got into it, and Coach K made us run and say we come back to the baseline. He like, okay, try it again. And me and Stuart, I wasn't backing down, and Stuart wasn't backing down. But I knew going into battle with him that he gonna have my back and I'm gonna have his, just off stuff like that.
Hell yeah.
Caleb was just poised, you know what I mean? He didn't say much, but you wasn't gonna just bully him either. Seth Dawes was just a
huge human being. That guy was just brick wall.
I saw him the other day. I'm like, man, you getting bigger. You know, Ray hold his own because he's Ray, but it was just definitely definitely we worked so hard, man. We worked hard, and I don't think nobody can take that from us. So when we going into a basketball game, it's like we wasn't scared. You know what I mean? We wanted the lights to be on us, and we wanted to perform.
Hell yeah, dude. One thing, so we've had Dante on the show to kind of talk about his time at McLean. Adam went to Vinton County, and I feel like whenever you were playing, like he alluded to, you guys beat that Vinton County team. Pretty sure you beat McLean. Like, you had a lot of stars around you. Did you ever kind of look over and be like, you know, oh, Dante had this tonight? Cool. go out and try to like you ever played a game kind of like off of them or anything like that?
That's a good question, but honestly, no. We didn't, man. And I think I look back and like I go back to the first thing I said. Like every accomplishment that was given or earned, it
It's
never was
definitely
a
earned.
goal.
You were definitely not
It
given
never
anything.
was a
You worked
goal.
your
Like
ass off.
even the scoring leader or leading the scoring, and none of that was a goal. You know what I mean? We just wanted to win ball games and win state. I was talking to a buddy the other day. He was like, "Man, you could have got 2,000 points." And I was like, I could have, but then I look back on some of the games, and I was very unselfish. I mean, I just some games I had to score, but then there was some games where, you know,
You have Ray
I
Chambers
wanted to
wide open for
pass.
a
But
layup to win state.
we just went out there and had fun, man. And when you winning, it's fun, and that's what we did.
So I want to ask you. You went to Akron, then I knew you transferred to JMU. I have another JMU guy
Who you
here.
went to JMU? Go Dukes.
Yeah, I was about to say, what have you thought about them this year? They're not only owning the court, but they've been owning the football field as well.
No, they've been playing pretty swell. I honestly got invited to go to a game, but with these kids and work and stuff, I couldn't make it. But they
Medlin
doing pretty
kids.
good, man. It's good to see. It's good to see.
So I want to ask you because, you transferred before the transfer portal was a thing. I know you came out. Like I said, you go to Akron, you transfer to JMU. Another two-parter here. What was it like going through the recruiting process? I don't know if you signed before or after your senior year. So how did that kind of go? And two, what was it like whenever you transferred to JMU?
It's 73% women and third on Playboy's hottest girls on campus. That's the one thing.
Okay,
I
so
will
never
say.
mind. You don't have to
Don't
answer the
even
second
play.
one.
Hold on. I'm just saying those are stats.
No,
that
yeah,
are
it was
out
definitely
there.
it was definitely that. I didn't know that when I transferred.
Yes!
Being honest. So I strictly, let's go backwards to the recruiting process. I think I committed my junior year summer. We was coming back from Florida. And just being honest with you, I was young and I honestly was tired of the recruiting process.
Did you kind of just want to get it over with?
Man, I was getting letters and calls and I'm talking at 17. If I could go back, I probably would have went to Michigan or Butler, just being honest.
Yeah, because I know Dylan Swingle, and he committed to Duquesne kind of before his senior year for the exact same reason. He goes, dude, I was just done with it, and I just went to Duquesne so I could just focus on my senior year.
Yeah, but I chose Akron because my family is from Cleveland.
Okay.
And I wanted to be close to my brother, so I chose Akron. But if I could go back, I definitely would have probably picked Michigan or Butler.
I wish you went to Butler.
But I strictly, without knowing the girl to boy ratio at JMU, I transferred strictly after my dad passed. I just wanted to get out of Ohio, and then the recruiting process started again. And I was thinking IUPUI. I was looking at a school in California, and then JMU called, and they had 8 guys from Ohio already out there, and I knew several of them. I knew a couple of them since I was 12 years old. So when I went out there and visited, it just was, I didn't really even visit. I kind of knew that that's where I was going because it was comfortable for me. But then I did learn that it was the crazy ratio. I did learn. I mean, you don't even learn about it. You just see it. It's like, wow,
it's nuts.
He
I
said
try
no,
to
he
explain
just-
to
you know
people.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, I try to explain to my friends, like, hey, we did this one day. And they're like, yeah, that's funny. That sounds like a Van Wilder movie. And I'm like, yeah. Well,
He's like, yeah, well, I was Van Wilder.
Yeah, we have fun. We have fun in Harrisburg. We have fun out there.
You're preaching to Tony's heart right now.
Dude, I'll tell you, Port Republic still has a I was on Devin Lane for a long time. 13, 14, 80.
What year did you go to JMU?
That would have been 10 to 13.
Okay, yeah, okay. No, so
Dude, but Humpty,
man, I could have saw you on campus. I ended up leaving.
What
I
you
ended
got,
up
Jay?
leaving. We definitely, because I was there. I transferred after my sophomore year.
Were you there with
and then I went
Sammy Dallenberg's brother?
Say it again.
Sammy Dallenberg, you remember him? He was like an NBA player. I think his brother came there, and that was like my freshman year. That was the hot topic with Sammy Dallenberg. He played for the Sixers for a while.
Okay. No, we had when I was there with Denzel Bowles. He was getting recruited.
Yeah,
not
okay.
recruited, but Boston was looking at him. He had a lot of NBA recruits looking. I mean, honestly, my junior year we started. My junior year was we had a really really good basketball team. And then we went on a little drought and started losing games by 1-2 and 1-2.
Dude, but that's the way that
But
conference was when you're playing teams like Richmond, like Norfolk, and different teams. Like that area had good ball.
Yeah.
Like growing up in Philadelphia, like I really did know good basketball, and you really felt like when you went to Hampton Roads and play. I mean, AI came from there, so you can't sit there and say they're nobodies. But when you talk about those places,
that
they
was
play.
the CAA at the time was a very what they in the Sun Belt now.
Yeah,
We was in the
we
CAA.
big dogs now.
And the teams that the games was George Mason, VCU, Old Dominion, Hotspur.
You're talking about teams that are all now big games. You're talking about
was at
bracket
VCU,
busters.
and they had Eric Maynard, they had Larry Sanders. VCU had a really good basketball team that year.
Yeah. Now, I want to ask you, because you said you almost went to Butler, and this is me personally talking to you. I'm like, not even acting like I'm on a show right now. So basically, after you guys won the state title, I went over to Indiana and watched my dad's hometown win the state title the next week in Brownsburg. And player on that team was Gordon Hayward. He actually ended up going to Butler. So did you ever meet him, talk with him about maybe going to Butler or anything like that?
Yep. Hold on 2 seconds. Here, hold on 2 seconds. Here, take
yes,
this in there.
sir.
Yes. Hey,
See,
dad
I love
first.
this.
Dad
I love
first.
this.
in
See,
there.
this is me. Because I'm the dad of the crew, so I be getting this on the regular basis. I be having to cancel and be like, look, I told you I'd be there, but I can't.
All over me, man.
Shit,
so when I went to Butler, it was for like a shootout. And it was my ankle was messed up, so I couldn't even play. But it was an unofficial visit. I talked to all of them. I actually met Peyton Manning. He was doing a commercial out there.
What the hell?
And even when I look back on it, Butler ended up winning the national championship, I think, or going to the national championship the following 2 years.
2010 and 11, lost to Duke on Gordon's crazy half-court shot that almost went in.
That was on my birthday.
And then lost to Kimba the next year after that in Houston.
Yep, at UConn. But he is one heck of a dude. And it was Brad Stevens was the coach.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was young, and the reason why I didn't go there was a kind of, for me, a stupid reason. Even with Michigan, I thought Michigan gym was too dark. Was one of the reasons why I didn't go to Michigan. And I'm just like looking back on it, like, dude, what are you doing? You know what I mean?
Turn the lights
on. We
And Butler campus was just too nice. I'm like, man, I'm gonna get in trouble out here. You know,
he's
what
like
I mean?
Akron was like that nice middle spot.
You know what I mean? I'm like, man, this is too nice. You know, but I look back and I think about things like that. And I can respect my dad for. He actually let me make the decision. I mean, he definitely gave me advice and different things of that nature. But he didn't persuade me to go here nor there. You know what I mean? He let me do it. But I met Gordon and I played with him. And honestly, when I look back on it, I mean, everything do happen for a reason. But I wish I would have, made some different
I'm
decisions.
telling you right now, if you're the point guard of that 2010 Butler team, that is a national title team. I'm just stamping it. I mean, that would have been insane. But you're up to some big things now, right? You got your own painting business. What's the name of that? I definitely fumbled the bag earlier.
Purpose Paints, man. Purpose Paints LLC. We've been in business legally with the state for 3 years now.
I love that. Legally,
that's the only. Yeah. He's only been operating for 3 years.
Yeah, he's only done this business for 3
tough.
years.
When you start things like this, everybody asking you for a favor, so you're going out there and they're paying you, and you're sitting there. Well, I'm not an LLC yet, but I know I do a damn good job.
I definitely do favors. But I do got a wife and 2 kids, man. So
I got one on the way.
It's like, hey, man, I do you a favor, but I better get a favor of some kind, like in return, money, food, something.
A crib.
No, I definitely. My favor. I always give a little deal, But my favor is definitely giving you character of making sure that I'm gonna come into your home and do it right. I go into a lot of homes to where people are calling me because somebody did them wrong. Like I just looked at this house not too long ago and. I'm like, man, they said they were done with this, and she said, yeah, and she was like, I'm counting on you now, and it's like one thing I can let you know is that we will not do that. And when you go into somebody's home and in their dwelling place, you treat it like it's yours, and I've always had extreme character, and I'm not gonna go in there and do that. You know what I mean? So that's my favor, and I let you know that we're gonna take care of him.
Hey, not just a champion in basketball, but a champion in the painting world. It sounds
Well,
like.
no, the
Yeah.
whole thing
Yes,
is it carries over.
I pray for continued blessings for sure.
Hell yeah, man! And again, with the kind of work ethic that you have as displayed, can't see anything but success coming your way, man.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate y'all having me on.
Yeah.
How long have y'all been doing this?
Dude,
7
months now?
Yeah,
Yeah,
about 7
we
months.
kind of just were looking around and we were like, hey, what? This is kind of exactly what happened. We were like, what if we take Pat McAfee and just put him in the SBC? So we were like, shit, let's try it. And then we were like,
Nice.
we have some games, our broadcasts here, they do a good job. You know, they're able to cover their game, but I'm not going to lie, like, you could definitely fall asleep to the commentary. Like, that, like, it's good commentary. It's just not my cup of tea. And so we were like, hell yeah, let's just throw some excitement on these games. And then literally, like, you can ask these guys, as soon as this thing started, I said, cool, getting Humpty Hitchens on, like, as soon as we possibly can, man. Like, I can't stress enough watching you when I was a kid growing up.
I'm ripping on him for being a fanboy
Yeah,
after
like-
you leave, by the way.
Like, watching you growing up and just understanding, like when you lived in Ross County from 2004 to 2008, you wouldn't be one guy.
Within
you
the
wouldn't be
past
Humpty
2
Hitchens.
weeks, there was someone having a frothy cold one at my house,
Yeah,
and your name was mentioned.
yeah.
I'm
so,
telling you, it means a lot to this community, and there's still a lot of people that hang on. Not that it's
only
like,
state title in Chillicothe basketball history.
well, they sit there, and it was fun for them. You know, you're growing up, you're 13, 14 years old, and you got to be a part of it.
History, right?
I'm not 100% sure on that one. That's why I don't say it. But probably only one in Ross County history as well. So,
Of recent years, since the turn of
Yeah.
the century.
yeah, of the years that matter, only one. So, Humpty, again, just want to say thank you so much for coming on, man. It was so awesome
real.
to get to talk to you, reminisce on the good times, and really just kind of pick your brain for basketball, my man.
Hey, man, I appreciate it. And I apologize that I'm just now getting on.
Hey, hard man
every
at
Monday
work.
I've had a project.
Yeah, you're a hard man
so-
at work. No need to apologize. You're out there making sure people's homes look just as beautiful as that state
Say
ring
it one
on your
more
finger.
time. Where you at?
Say it again.
What's your business name one more time?
Purpose Paints.
Purpose Paints. Call them, book them, make your house look beautiful. The one, the only, the 2008 state champ, Humpty Hitchens.
You seen the song.
I
You
appreciate
seen the
it, man.
song.
Dude, you clown me all you want, man. Like, that was my LeBron James, bro. Like, that was awesome.
You see how he sat back in the chair the whole time?
Yeah.
Dude,
Let me
that
ask you this guy.
I did this. Hey, I've done this the whole show. Come on now.
No, you were
Don't
relaxing.
rag on me.
Hold on. You relax when you ask a good question. This one was like, let me ask this question. I've been waiting for this answer for a long time. Gotcha.
I
My
don't know if
favorite
it's my
was it
hands
just
right now.
pans to Clay one time. It switches off of us to Clay, and he's just over there.
Dude,
Just smiling.
Dude, but I feel
know, I
it.
love it. I was
feel
like,
it.
dude,
I
like,
feel
that's-
it.
I
I really do.
again,
I'm dead serious, dude. Somebody's over at my house and they were like, "Yeah, dude, back when Humpty played." I'm like, "Dude, I think he's gonna be on our show this week." They're like, "Humpty?" I was like, instantly way cooler. And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah,
yeah, Humpty Hitchens
Dumb
on the show,
idiot.
bud. Come on.
You should have known that."
Didn't even have to pay him. Remember that, big stars? Didn't even have to pay that guy. All right, well, fellas, I think that was a pretty good show.
Hold
What do
on,
you say?
should we force these Adina kids to go on live?
Oh, they want to come on?
See,
live?
I was gonna say
Should we
it's time
force
to
it?
go. It's time to go get a Giovanni's pizza.
I was about to say, I think
I
it's
haven't
time.
eaten all day.
Yeah.
I fasted for this.
$10
I'm-
pizzas at Giovanni's. I think it's time to get one of those.
Yeah,
So.
and if you can't make it today, it's $10 one topping pizza today. If you can't make it today, you go there tomorrow. You get buy one get one free 2 topping pizzas. You get the pepperoni jalapeno. You tell them the Ride the Wave show sent you.
And Savannah doesn't hate me.
And we'll be out of here. I totally forgot I haven't fed my wife. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you're looking us up on our website, rtwavesports.com, on
Bing bong.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and catch us at a live game sometime. Peace out, Girl Scouts.